2 p.m. Pacific, November 5th, 2021. Strawbunny Slime Streams. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to... I just gave the date, so... I'm following my script at a weird place. Forgive me. Welcome to Strawbunny Slime Streams, everyone. I'm your host, Strawbunny Slime, aka Mocha, and today we're going to be continuing Morrowind. I actually don't really remember where we left off, which is unfortunate. I know we made it to Vivec City. I know we have something to do. The date is November 5th, 2021. It is Friday. I don't remember what we're doing in Vivec City. I just know that we went to Vivec City and I got a little confused. Also, we tried going into the wasteland in the middle of the island. And couldn't make it. The wind was too strong and enemies were too difficult to fight. Not that they were particularly dangerous, just that there were so many of them and my sword wasn't in the best condition, so I couldn't go as far into there as I wanted. As far as a quick summary of the game's events, so far all we know is that we're a prisoner that has been sent to the island of I think northeastern island of Morrowind. Per the request of the Emperor of Tamriel himself. A kite. I don't think that'll help. We were sent there to join the Blades, his basically secret service, his spies, his agents in the field. And really that seems like about all we know, except that there's something important about this whole Nerevar, Tribunal, etc. situation. I'm pretty sure we're barely into the main story at all, which is a little unfortunate since we're like, what, 4 or 5 episodes in? But anyway, I've talked for like 2 minutes and I haven't actually gotten to the game yet, haven't even booted it up, so let's jump back into it. Just as a quick reminder, we're currently doing a, from now until the end of the Morrowind streams, Oblivion modding drive. For every $20 that gets contributed toward that cause, I will add 1 Oblivion mod. Currently, we're sitting at 1 mod out of, hypothetically, as many as you want. The reason I price it so high is because Oblivion is a mess. Oh, yeah, I should set Discord to Do Not Disturb while I've got that on the mind, so we don't risk any pop-up notifications going on. Change the location of the window so that it's right about here. That should work. Minimize this one if I please. Oh, can't do that? What if I do that? And then, having a little bit of technical trouble here, folks, sorry. My cursor isn't playing very nice with the UI right now. No, it's not playing nice with the UI at all, actually. Acceptable workaround. Alright. So, yeah, no, I mean, it's playing nice with the actual game, just not... When I try to tab out, the mouse cursor was staying in the game window and not moving out into any other window. Alright, so we're looking for a couple of people here in Vivec City. We've got, let's see. Caius sent me to Vivec to speak with Adhiranir, a Khajiit Thieves Guild operative in St. Olms, Hulia, an Argonian in the Foreign Quarter at the Black Shalk Corner Club, and Mera Milo, a temple priestess at the Hall of Wisdom in the Temple Compound. Okay. Information about the Nerevrian cult and the 6th House cult from these 3. Got it. I feel an additional warning is warranted after the previous stream. Last time I played this, about 30 minutes in, my game, I presume, crashed so hard that I actually had a blue screen. I'm hoping that's not going to happen again. But to make matters more interesting, it is also a little bit windy outside. Yesterday it was like, well, maybe I shouldn't play anything today conditions, because like, I say like a lot. Because there was a concern that it would have,
We're watching you, scum.
What the fuck is your problem, bud? conditions yesterday, as I was saying, were bad enough that I basically didn't play anything until about 4 p.m. when the wind started dying down. It was that concerning that power loss might be an issue. It doesn't seem to be as bad this time, but I figure I should just note that between the weird blue screen last time and the weather being iffy right now, if the stream goes down, there's a couple possible explanations for why. I don't think it's going to, but by saying that, I've probably just jinxed it. We'll see. Okay, so this definitely isn't the right place. This is just all Telvanni nonsense. We don't need the Telvanni. Nobody needs the Telvanni.
We're watching you, scum.
God, I wish I could just attack that guy, but he'd kill me in like 3 seconds. You'd think, Heather, also welcome to the stream, but that's not really... I don't think that's how it works. Alright, so upstairs here isn't where we're trying to go. This is nowhere. It'd be nice if I had a... Well, here's a map. Temple District, 4 1/4. Oh, yeah, no, there's actually a perfectly good map of the whole environment here. Huh, why didn't I try this earlier? Ghost Gate, Caldera, Balmora. What we're looking for is the... St. Olms. Okay, there's a start. I had it for a moment. St. Olms is right south of us. Okay.
Do you want something?
At least I thought it was south of us. Hold on. Oh, it's that one over there. Okay, all right. Kind of can't believe I haven't checked the map before.
We're watching
I do like the music in this game. Elder Scrolls games, well, 2/3 of Elder Scrolls games, assuming we're not including Daggerfall or Arena, have good music. Morrowind's music is good, Oblivion's music is good, Skyrim exists. I'm very proud of it for that. St. Olms Wasteworks, is that where I need to be? Thieves Guild operative in St. Olms. They don't really specify Wasteworks or not, so... we are looking for...
Stay out
Adhiranir.
of trouble and you won't get hurt.
That sounds like a plan.
Do you want something?
Those boots are ruined.
Submit to the three spirits and thy lords.
Can't help but think the conversation going on with these guys talking about their 3 lords and 1 true faith and all that, it's just maybe a tiny bit cultish. Of course, it's entirely up
Say
to the
what you
player
want
to
or
interpret it
go
as they
away.
will. What's this? Iron Dagger. Alright, not important. Canal Works. I want to make sure I've checked the entire area before I move to a different one, because this place is a bit of a maze. Pardon me. Excuse me.
If
Excuse
you're
me.
here for trouble, you'll get more than you bargained for.
Tanners and Miners Hall, St. Olms. Let's try. Oh no, this is just back outside. Okay. Upstairs maybe? St. Olms Plaza. No. St. Olms Haunted Manor. Very normal thing to just have. Oh, you know. The spooky ass house. Everyone knows it. Yeah, apparently. You know what? My interest is piqued. I'm gonna check out the haunted house. Alright, what's haunted about this place? Cobweb. There's a bed. Lock level 50 on that door. Okay. Point taken. Let's see if I can find something that... Wait. I still have that scroll. Where is it? Open 40 to 60 points. Oh, yeah, I've gotta. Nothing. Try it again. Nothing. Try it again. I'm gonna give it 2 more tries. Nothing. 1 more try. God, okay. 1 more try for real, and then I'm just gonna cut my losses. I don't want this to be the whole... Yeah, alright. Point taken. Door doesn't want to open. I guess let's just reload from here, because... Otherwise, I've got the scroll wasted, which reminds me, I need to change back to Berserk. There we go. 1 more, says Ace. Yeah, alright. You know what? I'll bite. It's always right around the corner, right? It's always the one you don't try. Hey, what the heck do you know? Thank you, Ace. Was this a good idea? Let's see. Well, I'm safe here. No enemies. A lot of cups.
You
Hello?
risk your neck coming here.
Who are you? And are you telling me to get out? Wooden door.
Quickly, Outlander. I haven't much time.
Hi, Reed. Good to see you. So what's haunted about this house? Or is that just a
Speak,
setup
traveler.
for a much more normal environment? Maybe there's just some kind of operation going on here,
Speak,
huh?
traveler.
Speak quickly,
No.
Outlander, or go away.
What is this? I don't get paid to answer questions. Okay. She just doesn't want to deal with me at all. Okay.
Ah, say your piece or stand aside.
You say your piece or stand aside. Yeah, got him. Is there really just nothing here? I mean, I suppose I can't rule that possibility out, but it'd be a little weird. I don't know. Oh. Hey, fancy lockpick. Fancy probe. Fancy lockpick. Well, maybe not a fancy lockpick, that last one, but some hidden lockpicks. And a probe. I'll take it. Is this bed? Let's rest until 10. You had a disturbing dream. You can only recall one part. A tall figure with a golden mask led you among the dead as through a wedding celebration. You heard many voices, but no lips moved. You strained to breathe, but your chest didn't move. The tall figure spoke with each figure as he passed among them, laughing and joking as if they were alive, but they made no reply. You tried to cry out, but without breath, your tongue fluttered in vain. That's weird. Hold on. Okay, no, that's just weird. What the hell was that? Why did my character have a nightmare? Was it because the house is haunted? Is that the only reason? Are you a Khajiit? Hold on, if you're... No, you're not a Khajiit. You don't have a tail. There's the temple. Really don't know where I'm supposed to be going to find this character, so I'm just blundering into every room until I accidentally stumble across them or get myself in legal trouble. That door is locked.
What of
You're not who I'm looking for.
Why do you disturb me? There is someone watching me. I can tell.
Yeah, no kidding. Everyone around here is so freaked out about the fact that I'm nearby. I mean, my back was turned to the guy. What does he mean there's someone watching him? Not only just registered. Hold on. Sermon 27 of the 36 Lessons of Vivec. The scripture of the word. First, all language is based on meat. Do not let the sophists fool you. Second, the third walking path explores hysteria without fear. The efforts of madmen are a society of itself, but only if they are written. Read. Let's go meet. Thank you. Great. Cool. The wise may substitute one law for another, even into incoherence, and still say he is working within a method. This is true of speech, and extends to all scripture. Okay. Third, do not go to the realm of apology for absolution. Beyond articulation there is no fault. The adjacent place where the grabbers live, oh, you know, the grabbers, is the illusion of the vocal or the middle realms of thought, by which I mean the constructed. This is how I stole the certainty of the Chancellor of Exactitude, perfect to look upon from every angle. When you come out of the vocal, you can never be certain. Huh? What? Fourth, the truest body of work is made up of silence, as in the silence that results from no reference. By the word, I mean the dead. Fifth, the first meaning is always hidden. Sixth, the realm of apology is perfection and impossible to attack. Thus the wise avoid it. Trinity in unity is the world and word of action, the third walking path. Trinity in unity. Okay. I'm not picking up any of what they're putting down here. Seventh, the sage who suppresses his best aphorism, cut off his hands, for he is a thief. Okay. Eighth, the clothes of the broken map are worn only by fools and heretics. The map is an exit for laziness. It is the dusty tongue, which is to say, the given chart that most take as a story that is complete. No word is true until it is eaten. Huh? I wasn't expecting the word eaten to be at the end of that. The ending of the words is almsivi. Okay. Very cool. Every single time we come to one of these, I try to meditate on it and extract some meaning, and I think I need to, like, give up on that, because I'm sure there's meaning somewhere, but it's not going to be by reading these out of order, I don't think. Maybe if I read them all back to back, but I'm not going to do that. That's a bit much of an undertaking. Especially considering that hidden message if you read them all in the right order. I'd love to remember what that is. What it is and what it implies, but it's a little bit late game story-wise for us to be getting into that. Oh, wait. You an Argonian? Or Khajiit?
What is it, pest?
Argonian.
I
You're not
don't have
who
a
I
lot
want.
of patience for questions, Outlander.
That's fine. I don't have a lot of patience for your face, Inlander. Got him. These are
Spit
just
it out
people's.
or hit the road.
These are just people's houses. Light armor skill increased to 13. Very nice. that'll help because of the hat. I wonder if the guards know anything about the local thieves guild.
Questions.
Actually, can you answer any? Someone in particular. All sorts of people live here in St. Olms. 3 Hlalu lords also live here. Crassius Curio, Ingling Half-Troll, and Drambero. A number of Hlalu lords and... This is more of a Khajiit accent. A number of Hlalu lords and retainers live in Hlalu Compound and in St. Olms. Redorans live in Redoran Compound and Telvanni live in Telvanni Compound. Temple priests, clerks, and ordinators are in the Hall of Wisdom and the Hall of Justice. Some fighters live and train at the arena. Imperial guardsmen are in the Foreign Quarter. How about someone in particular? Nope, I just asked that. Never mind. Specific place? Vivec has 8 cantons. On a map, it looks like a cross, with the Foreign Quarter at the top, the Temple Compound with Vivec's Palace, the High Fane, the Ministry of Truth, and the Hall of Wisdom and the Hall of Justice. At the bottom, the Hlalu Oh no. And the Hall of Wisdom and the Hall of Justice, comma, at the bottom, comma, the Hlalu Compound to the west, the Telvanni Compound on the east, and 4 cantons grouped together at the center. Redoran Compound northwest, Arena northeast, St. Delin Canton southwest, and St. Olms Canton southeast. You're in St. Olms now. Hold on, I'm seeing mention of guilds. Silt Striders from North Landing, north of the Foreign Quarter, go to Seydanin, Saran, Molag Mar, and Balmora. Guild guides at the Foreign Quarter... Guild guides at the Foreign Quarter Mages Guild teleport you to the Balmora, Aldaroon, Caldera, and Sadrith Mora Mages Guild for a fee. Gondoliers ferry passengers between the Telvanni Compound, Hlalu Compound, Foreign Quarter, St. Delin Canton, and the Arena. Roads lead from the North Landing, north towards Saran, and the Ascadian Isles, and northwest towards Seydanin. Guild guides, huh? A guild guide is a spellcaster of the Mages Guild. Ah, okay. It provides magical transport for a small fee. You can only travel from one Mages Guild to another, but it is the fastest way to travel between Vivec, Balmora, Aldaroon, Caldera, and Sadrith Mora. Flacasia Fossius is the guild guide at the Vivec Mages Guild in the Foreign Quarter. For a small fee, she can teleport you directly to the Mages Guild at either Balmora, Aldaroon, Caldera, or Sadrith Mora. Okay, so none of this tells me about the Thieves Guild. Wasteworks. I think I was just down there. And there's waterworks on the lower level, right? Maybe they're in the sewers, or, you know, sewer-adjacent locales. I do like those banners. Those are cool banners. Credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. The banners are cool. Albeit perhaps a little bit strange to look at. Oh, there's more than one kind. I'm pretty sure those are supposed to represent the tribunal, but I have no idea which members are which. So, you know. That's some bad LOD. LOD? No, draw distance. Which, you know, it's Morrowind. What am I expecting? St. Olms Canal. Let's try this. No? It's just someone's house?
Spit it out or hit the road.
Just someone's house. All right. Canal South 2. Probably also just someone's... Drosakar. That's not the person I'm looking for, right? I don't know what you mean, I do not share. Adhiranir is who I'm looking for. All right. Maybe I should try asking one of the ordinators. South 3. Nope.
I don't know. You look like trouble to me.
Do I? With this hat? You can trust me. You know what sucks is nobody's made this hat in Skyrim. I looked, and the closest they have is like a much flatter version.
If you're here for trouble, you'll get more than you bargained for.
Duly noted. I'm not here for trouble, though. I'm here asking about guilds. Do we have anything on the Thieves Guild? No? If I liked you better, I might tell you. Okay. Here's 100 gold. Now can you tell me? St. Delen and St. Olm's Canton are residence cantons for commoners and paupers. The temple charges very reasonable rents for comfortable workshops, shops, and apartments, and most of Vardenfell's crafts and light industry is housed in these cantons. The Abbey of St. Delen the Wise is on the top tier of St. Delen, and Hlalu Councillor Yngling Half-Troll has a top-tier manor on St. Olm's. That doesn't help me at all, thank you. There's a cliff racer. Just kind of hung up on a tree. Right? It doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't have this hat as a Skyrim mod. Like, this is a gimme.
I don't have a lot of patience for questions, Outlander.
The closest someone ever made was barely, like, a third the height of this, which seems criminal to me. No, no.
Yes, sir.
Bit it out or hit.
St. Olm's Canal, North 3. Not you. Maybe if I go back up to the Wasteworks. Man, can I just say, this city layout kind of sucks a lot for someone who has no idea where they're supposed to be going. I don't know where the Thieves Guild is. Nobody will tell me where the Thieves Guild is. I have to find it for myself. There was a mention of waterworks somewhere in here. Tailors and Dyers Hall. Well, that's clearly not it. Or I presume it's not it. It is a lot like Fight Club. Don't ask me how. I don't actually have an answer. Just trust me. Canal works. Here's somewhere different. But is it the correct sort of somewhere different, or am I just wasting my time in a whole different location?
Bit it out or hit the road.
That's a grave just sitting in the canal works, which is very normal. There's this guy. Jedinar. That's not him. Storage. You know, let's actually... What's your trade? Jedinar has the sugar. What does Jedinar need with trade? Just go away and leave Jedinar alone. Alright. You're on drugs.
Now or leave now.
Good for you. How about storage? Is there... That's a rat. Y'all have a rat problem in your city. Blighted rats. Very cool. Also a chest. And another chest. I don't want to loot from any of the chests in here because I'm probably... Oh, that one's locked. Huh. Probably count as theft if I try. Wooden door, lock level 15. It's the worst that could happen. Is this... Hello, game? Can I not unlock that with this? Is this a lockpick or did I? Nope, this is a probe. Okay. I've figured out the problem. Don't worry. Only took me 10 clicks. Lock too complex. For this? Okay, how about the master's lockpick then? Oh, this is a really good question. I actually can't give you particularly good advice on that because I've only, like, this is my first time playing Morrowind. I did, like, bare minimum mods, just, like, followed a guide or two online for, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. Just look up a couple of, like, quick start, bare minimum modding guides if you want to play vanilla. I don't really have any recommendations as far as heavier mods than that, but there's some essential, like, code patches. You're going to want the 4GB patch for the EXE itself. Just, like, essentials you can probably find from modding guides online. I wish I could help you more. Apologies for that. But that does sound cool, and it's neat that you came here asking for help. Open Morrowind I'm not actually playing on. I've heard it is more stable, though, so good on you for that. This is a master level lockpick, and it's not able to get this door to budge at all. Are you serious? Please. There we go. Only cost me most of my lockpick. Oh, thank you for the follow. Silver longsword. I think... What did I have? This? Pretty sure I had this. And there's just a rat behind it. Is this one blighted? Diseased. Okay, that's fine. Diseased rats are fine. The word blighted worries me. That feels like a much worse disease. Lock level 50. Are you... I'm going to use up this lockpick. Check this out. Hold on. You know what? Lock 2 complex for a master level lockpick. Really? Well, master's lockpick. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to mean master level lockpick. I do have this scroll. Hey, got it. Was this worth the trouble? Some stairs. That's a zombie. Well, not technically a zombie. But close enough. They look way worse up close in, like, actual light. Bone Walker, that's what they're called. Soul Gem. What are these things, even? Should I be worried this is a different song? There's a lot of these! Oh, wow. Hey guys, you have a zombie problem in your storage room. Good God. Okay. At least they don't do a lot of damage, although they might make up for lost time being able to knock me down like that. Where's my heal? Restore health 2 points for 60 seconds on self. Okay. Don't mind if I do. One of these guys is completely untouched. Where's your strength in numbers now? And all it took was like 100 pokes with a sharp stick. I can't really qualify my sword as a sword. It does bare minimum damage. Here's a locked chest. Another locked chest. A locked and trapped chest. A lot of loot down here for someone that has a way to open... What am I debuffed with? Witbane. Okay, cool. I contracted a disease. Very nice. So I guess let's break out the Master's Lockpick. Lock 2 complex. Okay, really. Lock 2 complex. Lock 2 complex. Really? So I just can't open any of these with the nice lockpick that I have. Very cool. I guess, to be fair, this stuff is all hidden behind a door that I had no business opening this early. Shrine of Saint Felms? And here's a lock level 20 chest that's trapped. Okay. Nothing to do in here then. Mystery solved. Absolutely nothing going on in the zombie room at all. Classic Dunmer architecture. The mandatory zombie room. I love it. We got anything else going on around here? St. Olm's Underworks. That could be something. That seems like where a Thieves Guild would hang out. Let's check the Underworks. Actually, let's save first and then... What we got? Broken boards. Gross water. Or I assume it's gross anyway. Tunnels. A rat. Please hit it. Please hit the rat just once. Thank you. Oh, it was blighted. Very cool. Who is this? Are you friendly? No, you're not.
End your pain.
Oh, you're not friendly and you hit like a truck. Okay. What do I got? I need that.
This is the end of you, Swift.
Okay. Well, I want to investigate this place a little more. And I can't jump out of the water. Yeah, now I die. The plot twist is I actually did. Shocking. Medium armor skill improves. Don't touch anything about the diseased rat. Diseased, blighted, one of those. She probably can. If I can fight slaughterfish in water, she can fight me in water. There's probably going to be someone in here that wants my guts. No? Oh, there's a rat. We love killing rats here in Morrowind and having like a 50-50 shot on anything else. Crucial part of Telvanni culture. Telvanni? Dunmer? Either or. Kill another rat. There's a pipe that definitely just leads... What the heck are you?
Khajiit has
And
nothing
you're
to
near.
say to you.
Oh my gosh. Hi. Get away from me. Don't you know you're sick? It's just a common disease. Go find an imperial cult altar or a temple shrine or a healer or apothecary and get cured. I actually wanted to ask you about the Nerevarine. No. Adhiranir is not talking about this with you because Adhiranir is very distracted by an annoying taxman. Huh? And here and here is what you see. No one important, just a person who knows little things and does little things. I ask myself, do I like you enough to tell you about this? I'm kind of slipping into a Russian accent here, huh? The cats aren't Russian. Have 100 gold. And then tell me about your background. You do nothing important. I don't believe that for a second. You're distracted by an annoying taxman, huh? Can I... the Thieves Guild is just it's just a social club. We like the finer things in life. Those who join this club, they must know how to get the finer things in life. We are like other guilds, so we get deals on training, on goods, and on services. The guild stewards, they know the finer things in life very well, and know where to find them. And Hiranir must tell you, though, there is war between Thieves Guild and Kamona Tong. Adhiranir is loyal to the guild, but Adhiranir thinks maybe the guild is losing the war. Alright. You won't tell me about the tax guy at all, huh? I just have to deal with that for myself. Like, I have to find out all the... Do you know a guy named Caius Cosades? You're not gonna help me unless I... do your taxes for you with a sword. I don't think we have to pay her taxes. I think we have to make sure she doesn't have to worry about that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, stab, stab. Go down this tunnel here. Is that a rat? Rat just chilling. Rat just chilling. Okay. Da. This person will attack us on sight. Wait. What if I take... Nope. Okay. All right. Cool. You can hear me coming anyway. Well, nothing's gonna work, so let's use this. Yeah, this is me dying. Mystery solved. Alright, so she's having issues with a tax man who she won't tell me anything else about.
I'm sure there's someone else you can bother.
Nereverian? Yeah, you're just telling me what everyone knows about the Ashlanders, their prophecy, etc., etc. Okay. Little secret. You don't like me enough. Okay. I'm gonna go to a temple, I guess. Get cured up. See what that does for me. Maybe ask someone else about their problems,
I
too.
can already tell I'm not going to like this.
We're watching you, scum.
I really hate that they're just calling me scum. I don't take kindly to that. The shadows were just a weird visual bug from folks upstairs, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I need a ramp leading down. I need a ramp that leads down. A downward ramp. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all it was. It's right about now that I really wish my character were just a little bit faster.
Keep moving, scum.
Yep, will do. There's a temple. Vivec, comma, temple. So, yes, it is a temple. Okay, if I go in here... Where do I go to get my stuff cured? Hi. Barter? Nope, you just have scrolls. Oh, and... No, wait, those are just, like... spells. Oh, wait, enchanted items. Okay, probably nothing here that I'd want. Dagger, spear. What am I good at? Blunt weapon 35, long blade 67. Gee, I wonder which one I should use. Actually, it wouldn't hurt to level
Oh,
both.
come
but...
on, leave me alone.
Oh, you know what? Spells. Faction members only. Okay, cool. Faction members only. Really? I can't do anything with this one unless... The fuck? Alright. Sure. Sniff. Why not? That's fine. Hi. Oh, you're an apothecary. You sell a potion that cures all common diseases. Can also receive the blessing of a cure by visiting a shrine and making an offering. A blessing costs less than a potion, but a potion may be carried for convenient use. Yeah, I'd like to actually invest in some potions. Let's start with that. Fortify health. I'm not looking for fortify. I'm looking for restore. Bargain restore health does basically nothing. No, thank you. Disease resistance. Not looking for that. Here's the cheap potions. Yeah, nobody really likes me because I'm sick. Cheap restore potion is not much. You have cure disease, cure common disease. Okay. I don't need that. I'm at a temple. Rising force potion, 20-point levitate. Exclusive restore health potion. 40 points for 5 seconds. That's pretty fancy. Never know when I might need that. While I'm at it, while I'm just hemorrhaging money over here, have some Kwama eggs, because I can't figure out what to do with them. Some raw glass, in case you get hungry. There's a ghoul heart. I'm sure you can figure out what to do with that. I'm completely, entirely sure you know what that's for. I'll take your cheap restore healths too, why not? How many racer plumes will you accept? All of them. Okay, cool. And we'll just call it there. Thank you.
Keep moving, scum.
What's this book? The Book of Dawn and Dusk. Okay, not something I'm interested in. 36 Lessons of Vivec, Sermon 2 and Sermon 10. Wow. Just both right here, huh? All right. Alchemy skill increased to 16. Ahem. The 36 Lessons of Vivec, Sermon 2. The Netchaman's wife, who carried the egg of Vivec within her, went looking for the lands of the Indoril. Along the journey, many spirits came to see her and offer instructions to her son-daughter, the future glorious, invisible warrior poet of Vardenfell, Vivec. Invisible? Are we sure they meant invisible and not invincible? The first spirit threw his arms about her and hugged his knowledge in tight. The Netchaman's wife became soaked in the incalculable effort. The egg was delighted and did somersaults inside her, bowing to the 5 corners of the world, 5? And saying, "Thus whoever performs this holy act shall be proud and mighty among the rest." Okay. The egg said that? The second spirit was too aloof and acted above his station so much that he was driven off by a headache spell. The third spirit, At-Hatur, came down to the Netchaman's wife while she relaxed for a while under an emperor parasol. His garments were made from implications of meaning, and the egg looked at them 3 times. The first time, Vivec said, "Ha, it means nothing." After looking a second time, he said, there might be something there after all. Finally, giving At-Hatur's garments a sidelong glance, he said, "Amazing, the ability to infer significance in something devoid of detail." Hint, hint. Hey reader, are you paying attention? Do you get it? The book doesn't mean anything until you look at it again and realize there might be something there. Do you get it? Do you get it? "There is a proverb," At-Hatur said, and then he left. Cool. What's the proverb? What's the proverb? The fourth spirit came with the fifth, for they were cousins. They could ghost touch and probed inside the egg to find its core. Some say Vivec at this point was shaped like a star with its penumbra broken off. That's not how that works. Others that it looked like a revival of vanished forms. "From my side of the family," the first cousin said, "I bring you a series of calamities that will bring about the end of the universe. Thanks, cool present." "And from my side," the second cousin said, "I bring you all the primordial marriages that must happen within them, each one." Must happen within what? The calamities? At this, the egg laughed. "I am given too much to bear so young. I must have been born before." Huh? And then the sixth spirit appeared, the Black Hand's Mephala. Okay, Mephala I'm familiar with. Mephala is the name of a Daedric prince, who taught the Velothi at the beginning of days all the arts of sex and murder. Its burning heart melted the eyes of the Netchaman's wife and took the egg from her belly with 6 cutting strokes. Okay. The egg image, however, could see into what it had been before in ancient times, when the earth still cooled and was not blinded? It joined with the Daedroth and took its former secrets, leaving a few behind to keep the web of the world from disentangling. Then the Black Hand's Mephala put the egg back into the Netchaman's wife and blew on her with magic breath until the hole closed up. But the Daedroth did not give her back her eyes, saying, "God hath 3 keys, of birth, of machines, and of the words between. Within this sermon the wise may find 1/2 of these keys." So 1.5 keys? The ending of the words is Almsivi. I would guess one of them is the key of birth. Probably nothing about machines being talked about here, and half the words between? I'm doing it. I'm frigging... the bit I mentioned. Do you get it, reader? How there's nothing in here until you look again? I'm doing it. Alright. Lessons of Vivec, Sermon 10. Shortblade skill increased to 6. Hey, cool. I'm never going to use a shortblade. You have discovered the 10th sermon of Vivec, which was hidden in the words that came in the aftermath to the Hortator. Or Hortator. Hortator. The evoker shall raise his left hand empty and open, to indicate he needs no weapons of his own. The coming forth is always hidden, so the invoker is always invisible, or, better, in the skin of his enemies. The eyelid of the kingdom shall fill 30 by 6 folios. Okay. But the eye shall read the world. The eyelid of the kingdom shall fill 30 and 6 folios. I'm going to assume, since there's 36 lessons of Vivec, probably a connection there. The eye shall read the world? No fucking idea. By this, the Hortator needs me to understand. I'm just going to say Hortator until someone explains to me how the hell I'm supposed to pronounce that for real. The sword is an impatient signature. Write my contracts on the dead. Vivec says unto the Hortator, remember the words of Boethia. Again, Boethia, Daedric Prince. We pledge ourselves to you, the frame maker, the scarab, a world for us to love you in, a cloak of dirt to cherish. Betrayed by your ancestors when you were not even looking, Hoary Magnus and his ventured opinions cannot sway the understated, a trick worthy of the always satisfied. I don't have any fucking idea what I'm reading. Oh. I've just been handed a note that says Almsivi, Unity, Almalexia, Sothasil, Vivec, Trinity. Okay, so let's just go back to Sermon 2 real quick. Unity, Trinity, where the fuck was that? Not in here, I don't think. Oh, okay, that was apparently in an even earlier one than the two we've got here. Yeah, Ace, I know, no passing notes in class, but, like, Almsivi, I figure now is as good a time as any, now that I'm overdue, to have it explained. There are 3 gods in the tribunal in Morrowind, Almalexia, Sothasil, and Vivec. So, Almalexia, Sothasil, C, and Vivec. So this word in all caps refers to the tribunal. Anyway, Hoary Magnus and his ventured opinions cannot sway the understated, a trick worthy of the always satisfied. A short season of towers, a rundown absolution, and what is this but fire under your eyelid? Shift ye in your skin, I say to the Trinimac eaters. Pitch your voices into the color of bruise, divide ye like your enemies in houses, and lay your laws in set sequence from the center, again like the enemy corners of the house of troubles, and see yourself thence as timber, or mud slats, or sheets of resin. Then do not divide, for yet it is the stride of Sithisit quicker than the rush of enemies, and he will sunder the whole for the sake of a shingle. I don't feel like I'm reading anything right now. I feel like I'm having a stroke. For we go different, and in thunder. Sithisit is the start of all true houses, built against stasis and lazy slaves. Say that 5 times fast. Turn from your predilections, broken like false maps. Hi, Sonny. Move and move like this. Okay. Quicken against false fathers, mothers left in corners weeping for glass and rain. Stasis asks merely for nothing, for itself, which is nothing, as you were in the 8 everlasting imperfections. What the hell does this mean? I'm sorry, I finally found one that's as confusing to read as Sermon 25 was. I don't understand anything that's rolling off my tongue. I feel like I need to read this again on stream just to try and figure out what the hell. We go different and in thunder. Okay, Sithisit. I understand that. That's Sithis. Sithis is like an ancient, near primordial god of death. From like before the Aedra and Daedra were clearly established, Sithis was one of, I want to say, the oldest gods in the pantheon. I don't know what Sithis has to do with any of this. Actually, not death, but more like the void. Sithis is the god of the void. One of those ancient gods birthed from Anu and Padme, the very first 2 gods. Anu being order, Padme being chaos. Vivec says unto the Hortator, remember the words of Vivec. Understand that Sithisit still travels. Vivec says unto the Hortator, remember the words. I'm going to skip every time that gets said because it feels like that's just meant to be repeated. Like, if you were reading this aloud, the person reading it would say, Vivec says unto the Hortator, remember the words of Vivec, and the most devoted among you would then shout back, understand that Sithisit still travels, etc., etc. So I'm just going to read the caps bits. Understand that Sithisit still travels in a phosphorescent mirror of the sky, drowned and smiling, intermittent hopes enough to answer all the things not yet queried. The ending of the words is Almsivi. Understand that synthesis still travels in a phosphorescent mirror of the sky. Mirror of the sky sounds like the sea? I don't know what that has to do with the void, though. Drowned and smiling. Drowned feels like it confirms the sea thing, though. Intermittent hopes enough to answer all the things not yet queried. Okay, I can barely extract a meaning from any of these things. I hope nobody's expecting, like, a deep dive into the meaning of every single one of these, because God help me. Anyway, we're still looking for people. We're about an hour into this and we haven't left Vivec City yet. This sucks a little.
I can already
Robin.
tell I'm not going to like this.
Right, I'm supposed to be looking for a temple healer. Thank you, Robin. That's very sweet of you. Hall of Wisdom, maybe? Is there someone here that can heal me, please? Hall Underworks. Probably not a good idea for me to look into that.
I'm sure there's someone else you can bother.
What the fuck is up with people around here?
Here not long ago.
Library of Vivec. Oh god, there's a library. Oh no. That's just gonna be the whole rest of the stream, isn't it? I'm gonna go into the library, I'm not gonna come back.
Submit to the three, the spirits and thy lords.
Let's see what's in the library. How many of the books can we find in here?
Watch yourself. We'll have no trouble here.
Biography of Berenzia or Berenzia. Mysterious Akavir.
The three, my rights and duty.
The Affairs of Wizards.
Oh, come on, leave me alone.
I walked right past you. What the fuck do you mean, leave
Watch
you alone?
yourself. We'll have no trouble here.
The Real Berenzia. On Oblivion. Mixed Unit Tactics.
Leave me.
Leave me.
Nobody wants to talk to me at all. Everyone hates me.
Probably nothing.
The Eastern Provinces. Invocation of Azura. Do we have any books on Vivec in
There's
here?
no time for talk now.
Do I really want the
Go.
answer to that? I mean, there's Vivec and Mephala, but I was looking more for the 36 sermons. No, nothing. All right. In lieu of that, how long is Mysterious Akavir? How long? Let me think about that one. I might actually want to read that one. That one might be worth reading. Yeah, sure. You know what? Mysterious Akavir. Akavir means Dragonland. Tamriel means Dawn's Beauty. Atmora means Elder Wood. Only the Redguards know what Yokuda ever meant. Akavir is the kingdom of the beasts. No men or mer live in Akavir, though men once did. These men, however, were eaten long ago by the vampiric serpent folk of Saci. Had they not been eaten, these men would have eventually migrated to Tamriel. The Nords left Atmora for Tamriel. Before them, the elves had abandoned Aldmeris for Tamriel. The Redguards destroyed Yokuda so they could make their journey. All men and mer know Tamriel is the nexus of creation, where the last war will happen, where the gods unmade Lorkhan and left their adamantine tower of secrets. Who knows what the Akaviri think of Tamriel, but ask yourself, why have they tried to invade it 3 times or more? There are 4 major nations of Akavir: Kamal, Saci, Tangmo, and Kapotun. When they are not busy trying to invade Tamriel, they are fighting with each other. Kamal is snow hell. Demons live there, armies of them. Every summer they thaw out and invade Tangmo, but the brave monkey folk always drive them away. Once Adasum dir Kamal, a king among demons, attempted to conquer Morrowind, but Almalexia and the Underking destroyed him at Red Mountain. Saci is Snake Palace, once the strongest power in Akavir before the Tiger Dragon came. The serpent folk ate all the men of Akavir a long time ago, but still kind of look like them. They are tall, beautiful if frightening, covered in golden scales and immortal. They enslave the goblins of the surrounding isles, who provide labor and fresh blood. The holdings of Ceci are widespread. When natives of Tamriel think of the Akaviri, they think of the Serpent Folk, because one ruled the Cyrodiilic Empire for 400 years in the previous era. He was potentate Versidu Shai, assassinated by the Morag Tong. That's unfortunate. Tangmo is the Thousand Monkey Isles. There are many breeds of monkey folk, and they are all kind, brave, and simple, and many are also very crazy. They can raise armies when they must, for all of the other Akaviri nations have, at one time or another, tried to enslave them. They cannot decide who they hate more, the snakes or the demons, but ask one and he will probably say snakes. Though once bitter enemies, the monkey folk are now allies with the tiger folk of Kapotun. Kapotun is the tiger dragon's empire. The cat folk here are ruled by the divine Toshraka, the tiger dragon. They are now a very great empire, stronger than Ceci, though not at sea. After the serpent folk ate all the men, they tried to eat all the dragons. They managed to enslave the red dragons, but the black ones had fled to, then, Potun. A great war was raged, which left both the cats and the snakes weak, and the dragons all dead. Since that time, the cat folk have tried to become the dragons. Toshraka is the first to succeed. He is the largest dragon in the world, orange and black, and he has very many new ideas. First, Toshraka says, is that we kill all the vampire snakes. Then the Tiger Dragon Emperor wants to invade Tamriel. Interesting. We never go to or really talk much about Akavir in Elder Scrolls games. This man is stuck on a chair.
Head on.
Sure. We never really talk much about Akavir or the folks from it in the Elder Scrolls games, which is a little unfortunate, but there's a whole second half of the book. Not book, the library. Reflections on cult worship, special flora of Tamriel, the House of Troubles. We do hear the name Akavir mentioned a couple of times outside the books, which is why I brought that up, and also because a lot of books on brief history of the Empire. Also because I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on, like much later on. Grasping Fortune, Eastern Provinces, Constellations of Prayer, Darkest Darkness. Deed to Indrale's House. By the grace of Almsevi, lords and rulers of all, know all Dunmer by these words that I, Muthsera Hlalu Velando Omani, have legally purchased the home in Seydanin of the Dunmer Indrella Rathrion, and the accompanying land for the sum of 3,000 imperial drakes. Witness our hands on this third day of Evening Star, Third Era 426. Seal of the seller, Indrella Rathrion. Seal of the buyer, Velanda Omani. Can I just... I'm being observed. Is there somewhere I can go where I'm out of sight? Yes. And then from this angle... Yoink. House of Troubles. Cantatas of Vivec. The Cantatas of Vivec are gospels written in the form of epic songs. They trace the evolution of Vivec from a foolish mortal into an enlightened divine. Vivec sought out experiences that tested him in every way possible, particularly the defense and protection of his Dunmer people, and through his long life, his humility, and his unconquerable spirit, he attained the wisdom of the Seven Graces. The cantatas relate many stories of Vivec's experiments with challenge and risk, his failures and triumphs, his blessing of insight and good fortune, and his debt to his partners, Almalexia the lover and Sothasil the teacher. The poetry is simple and dramatic, lyric and personal, composed to be sung or recited. The following is an excerpt from Lord Vivec's Brooding Beneath Red Mountain. The gaunt ghost fires loom as subtle shrouds, smoke and shades on the biers of Red Mountain. Arches and spires line the rock halls, dimly lit by the spirits of the dead. The blood of broken hearths and houses runs in red rivers, blossoms, and fountains. Girdled round within walls of wit's glass, the shattered hosts slumber in cradles of ash. But when shall they wake? What dark crucible may kindle their souls to light? How long beneath red reeking clouds must flickering watchfires burn? How many lifetimes of labor and lament will it take to seal this restless tomb? Red Mountain, huh? Do tell, Heather. I'm curious to see what you're picking up on here. I will also note, while you're discussing that, here's something to dwell on. The 36 sermons of Vivec, as far back as Sermon 2, made it pretty clear Vivec was already pretty godly even as an egg. Which, that's a hell of a sentence, but... he seemed like he already knew a lot of things that... Oh, I get it. Sonic Red Mountain, okay. He seemed like he already knew a lot of things as an egg that he shouldn't have been able to know as a mortal. So, from all appearances, the 36 sermons paint Vivec as a god from the outset. But here, they're saying the evolution of Vivec from a foolish mortal into an enlightened divine. So either the cantatas of Vivec, which I'm now noticing has this fancy symbol on it with the two half circles, so presumably this is the symbol for Vivec. Either that book is lying about Vivec, or Vivec is lying about Vivec.
Oh, come on, leave me alone.
Outlander. Move along.
Oh, wait a minute, I was looking for this person and didn't even realize it. Yes, I'm Mera Milo. Caius sent you? Follow me into the back of the library. We can't talk here. Oh, Vivec's definitely important. Okay, so... Oh, I can ask about the dream, huh? That means nothing to me. Perhaps you wouldn't know, but the temple regards disturbing dreams as a sign of soul sickness, a sign that the mind is deranged by impure impulses and dangerous feelings. The Ashlanders have many superstitions about dreams, but they have superstitions about everything. Okay, so the reason I was here in the first place was, well, for the books, actually. I completely forgot about you, but let's talk about Caius. Caius is a dear friend to me. Like me, he admires the best traditions of the temple, charity for the poor, education for the ignorant, protection for the weak. He is a Westerner, but he has come to love our land and our people. But like me, he distrusts the arbitrary power of the ordinators, and, like the dissident priests, he suspects the temple is hiding something. He serves the Emperor, but he also loves Morrowind, and he sees the failing virtues of the temple as a threat to Morrowind's political stability. Tell me about the Ordinators. If I liked you better, then I might. Here's 100 gold. Now tell me about the Ordinators. The Order of the Inquisition identifies and suppresses heresy among priests and laymen. Okay. Now we're getting into it. Dissident priests? The dissident priests dispute temple doctrine and are outlawed and persecuted by the temple. Ordinators arrest and imprison heretics, and the Empire cannot interfere. Progress of Truth lists their beliefs. In brief, they challenge the purity and divinity of the tribunal, suggesting their powers are sorcerous, not divine, and perhaps akin to the powers of Dagoth-Ur. They also condemn the arbitrary power of the Ordinators and accuse the temple hierarchy of self-interest and corruption. Tell me about Dagoth-Ur. I don't feel like I've heard that name before, but you're mentioning it here, so it must be important. Dagoth-Ur is the evil, immortal enemy of the Tribunal Temple cult. The temple holds Dagoth-Ur and his hosts accountable for all the evils that beset the Dunmer and Morrowind. Dagoth-Ur dwells in fiery caverns beneath Red Mountain, served by his kin, called ash vampires, and by legions of deformed monsters. Beneath Red Mountain, you say? Interesting. Tell me about soul sickness? Soul sickness is called madness or insanity in the Empire. Signs of soul sickness are strange dreams, uncontrollable impulses, and cruel and evil deeds. Madness is not a disease, as Westerners believe, for if it were, it might be cured by blessings and healers. Soul sickness is a curse of Dagoth-Ur, who sends dark dreams to attack the weak of faith in their sleep. Those strong in faith can resist. Those weak in faith must seek counsel from the temple. I'd like to ask you about the Nerevarine cult. The temple worships Nerevar as a saint and hero, but prophecies of his reincarnation are punished by wicked heresy. The Nerevarine cult claims the tribunal are false gods, hence the temple's persecution of the Nerevarine cult. A group called the Dissident Priests disputes temple doctrine on the Nerevarine prophecies. The prescribed book, Progress of Truth, describes their beliefs. Get a copy of Progress of Truth for Caius Cosades. That will tell him things he needs to know about the Nerevarine cult. Progress of Truth, where would I find it? Yes, it lists the disputes of the dissident priests with temple doctrines. The temple has outlawed the sale or possession of the book, but it will be hard to find. We have a copy here, but I fear I'm being watched by ordinators here. A safer plan would be to search local booksellers. Some booksellers ignore temple bans on outlawed books for profit or for principles. Okay, so we're looking for a book called Progress of Truth. We have a copy here. I do not care for temple politics, but I have read Progress of Truth, and it troubles me. I have friends, former priests, who have gone into hiding, so I am bound to come to the attention of the ordinators. I am careful, but I am afraid. I'm no secret agent like you or Caius. Sooner or later, I too must go into hiding. If it is not too late... When you return to Caius, tell him I am worried, and that if something goes wrong, I will leave a message under the agreed code word, Amaya. Tell me about the Nerevarine prophecies. The Ashlanders have a mystical tradition of interpreting dreams and visions as prophecies. These prophecies are recorded in verse and may be lost or garbled over the generations. But the dissident priests have collected many ancient prophecies of the Nerevarine, many of which they believe to be genuine. Collectively, these are called the lost prophecies of the incarnate. One of the sacred missions of the dissident priests is the collection and study of these prophecies. Persecution of the Nerevarine? It's an Ashlander cult, primitive superstition, says the temple. Nerevarines say the tribunal are false gods. I've never understood why the temple wastes so much energy on them. The faithful cannot be shaken by such attacks, and the Ashlanders are just ignorant savages. But since the submission of the temple to the Empire and the erosion of faith among the Dunmer, the militant wing of the temple is increasingly fierce in its attacks on heretics and heathens. Interesting. So, she said, Progress of Truth can be found in the secret libraries of the Hall of Wisdom, but that they are guarded. Safer to search booksellers for a copy. All right. You should get that checked.
3 gods, 1 true faith.
Give me just a quick second, and I do mean just a quick second. There we go. Blinds needed closing. Light outside was getting a bit too bright to see the screen without glare. Anyway. Progress of Truth. Guarded in the Hall of Wisdom.
We'll have no trouble here.
Resting here is illegal, okay. Can I just walk right in, or am I about to get in trouble? Everything's fine so far. Secret library. Well,
My rights and duties.
there is an underworks section. Let's see about this. Oh, it's just this rat. Okay. I was wondering why the fight music had started up. Blighted rat. Cool. If I was a secret location in a library where a book was being hidden, where would I be? Well, not the Hall of Justice. That sounds wrong. I mean, they did say the book was being guarded. Gonna assume the book I'm looking for is not in the Hall of Wisdom. Well, sorry, I meant not in the Hall of Justice. I'm kind of struggling to stay aware right now, which is not the fault of the game. It's just the fact that this is interesting. Someone's sleeping down here, huh? $15 gold. I'm not in the business of stealing from random bags in the sewers. I'm doing my best to stay focused on the task at hand, but I kind of wasn't expecting to be in Vivec City this long, and my ability to process what qualifies as progress through a game is screwy. So the fact that I've just been hanging out in Vivec City, even though I've been reading books, keeping up with lore, contributing to the main quest line, etc., in little bits and pieces, the fact that I haven't left the city at all has me feeling like I haven't done anything for the last hour plus.
No weakness or fault.
Canon offices, huh?
3 gods. One.
Am I allowed to be here?
Leave me.
I am allowed to be here.
Watch yourself. We'll have no trouble
Mysticism,
here.
reflections on cult worship, lives of the saints, varieties of faith, homilies of Blessed Almalexia. Hall of
Sure
Wisdom.
there's someone else you can bother?
Came in through that door. What's through this one? Cannon quarters. That staircase just goes down. Library of Vivec. Is this just gonna be back the way?
There's no time for talk now. Go.
Yeah. You know what? Sermon 2 mentioned Vivec having some connection to Mephala, and this book seems to be talking a little more about that. Let's see. Who is Almsivi? Morrowind is holy country, and its gods are flesh and blood. Collectively, these gods are called the Tribunal, the Triune Almsivi, 3 deities exemplifying Dunmeri virtues. Almalexia is mercy, Vivec is mastery, and Sothasil is mystery. Vivec is easily the most popular of them all. Vivec is also the most public, for he is the beloved warrior poet of the true people, paradoxically beautiful and bloody. Vivec is an artistic violence. Vivec is represented in temple literature, see what I mean? And liturgy as one of the divine kings of Morrowind. He guards the sacred Velothi subcontinent of Vardenfell and stands guard over Red Mountain, the gate to Hell. He is part of the Holy Tribunal, a god of the New Temple, and an aspect of the blessed and righteous Almsivi. This explicit presentation of Vivec, the guardian god king and warrior poet, is the one most accessible and familiar to Westerners. However, it is important to remember that Vivec is also known to the Dunmer as the transcendent evolution of the Daedra that anticipated him, Black Hand's Mephala, or Mephala, a foundation figure of the earliest Chimer. This darker side of Vivec does not appear in the popular literature and liturgy, but is instinctively understood and accepted by the Dunmer as an integral part of Vivec's divine aspect. A more complete appreciation of the complex nature of Vivec requires an understanding of the nature of Vivec's anticipation Mephala, and the darker themes represented by this Daedra Lord's modes and motivations. My jaw is getting worn out reading all of this. Who is Mephala? Each of the 3 tribunes of the temple were represented in the dawn of Chimeri culture by their anticipations. These anticipations are known to the West as the sinister Daedra lords Azura, Boethia, and Mephala. In temple theology, however, Azura is the anticipation of Sotha-Sil, the mage lord of Almsivi. Boethia is the anticipation of Almalexia, Almsivi's mother and lady. Mephala is the anticipation of Vivec. According to legend, under the guidance of these 3 Daedra lords, a discontented throng of Altmer transformed themselves into a new people and founded a new land. And while Boethia, the so-called Prince of Plots, provided the revolutionary methods needed to bring about this transformation, Mephala was the shadowy implementer of those methods. As known in the West, Mephala is the demon of murder, sex, and secrets. This will later be retconned to Mephala being the Daedric Prince of Fate. All of these themes contain subtle aspects and violent ones: assassination and genocide, courtship and orgy, tact and poetic truths. Mephala is understood paradoxically to contain and integrate these contradictory themes. And all these subtle undercurrents and contradictions are present in the Dunmer concepts of Vivec, even if they are not explicitly described and explained in temple doctrine. The Dunmer do not envision Lord Vivec as a creature of murder, sex, and secrets. Rather, they conceive of Lord Vivec as benevolent king, guardian warrior, poet-artist. But at the same time, unconsciously, they accept the notion of darker hidden currents beneath Vivec's benevolent aspects. Just saying Vivec is a struggle sometimes, because the 2 V's are in such rapid succession that sometimes it sounds like I'm just saying Vivec. 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 For example, one of the most striking persistent myths associated with Vivec is the story that Vivec conspired with his co-rulers Almalexia and Sotha-Sil in the murder of Lord Nerevar, the greatest of Dunmer heroes and generals. The story is derived from Ashlander oral tradition and is flatly contradicted by all temple traditions. Nonetheless, the tale is firmly established in the Dunmer imagination, as if to say, of course Vivec would never have conspired to murder Lord Nerevar, but it happened so long ago. Who can know the truth? The public face of Vivec is benign, sensitive, compassionate, and protective of his followers. At the same time, the Dunmers seem irrationally comfortable with the hidden aspects of Vivec, the darker components of violence, lust, and conspiracy, associated with the more primitive and ruthless impulses of the anticipations. So, quick rundown, in layman's terms, the mention of anticipations is a hint toward one of the 6 walking ways, which I've briefly mentioned before are supposed to be paths for mortals to ascend to godhood. Anticipations are basically, how best to put it? The concept of an anticipation, let's take Vivec and Mephala as an example. Mephala, up until Vivec was born, is considered a Vivec-shaped hole in the nature of things, if that makes any sense at all. Basically, the idea is that Mephala represents a certain sphere that Vivec would later fill. That's the nature of a so-called anticipation. So, Azura, Boethia, and Mephala, in the eyes of the Dunmer and their culture, are basically holes shaped like Sotha-Sil, Almalexia, and Vivec, not necessarily in that order. So that's interesting. That's a bit more words put toward explaining that than I meant for. Apologies, give me a second to take a drink, and then we can put this book down and maybe actually make some story progress. I love Elder Scrolls lore for how dense it is, but I will say that my initial idea of reading through any bits that seemed interesting to me is not really doable in a stream, because there's a lot of very, very dense stuff to work with. It is easier by far simply to take the games as they explain these details. Milo's quarters. Oh. Ordinarily, I wouldn't. Let's see, where's that book? Progress of Truth is what I'm looking for. I'm operating under the assumption this is even what I'm supposed to be trying to find here. She said guarded. No. No, okay. I just broke into her room thinking there would be a book in here, and there's not. There are a couple of good levitation potions, but let's reload because I want to keep that scroll with me just in case. So if it's not there, I really don't appreciate the sniffing, especially not right in my fucking ear like that.
Leave me.
Okay. Give me a second, I'm just looking around. That paper. Deed to Indrale's house, I believe. Indrale Rathrion. Okay, Sonny, that's actually highly entertaining and very reassuring. I can't help wondering who the someone is, because that sounds almost like something Jerma would do. 7.5 hour stream of someone reading the list of sandwiches page on Wikipedia. That really does sound like a Jerma thing. But that can't be, right? Like, that's too easy. Just to point to any weird stream and go, that's probably Jerma. That's way too easy. Coordinator Barracks, not really. Office of the Watch,
I can already
nope.
tell I'm not going to like this.
I mean, I don't like you, so that's fine. Hall of Wisdom. Oh, it's Holly! Okay.
Let's not make this official, Outlander. Move along.
That's the temple. Coordinator Barracks. All right, let's go to the temple. I need to get myself... Oh, well, this is outside, not really where I was hoping. The person that can cure me of this disease, I could just take a potion, but I'm so close to... At least I'm probably so close to... That doesn't surprise me. You know what? I bet that list was invented before the s'mores sin, which I read about the other day, though. Palace of Vivec. Lock level 100. Trapped. Okay. I guess if we're not seeing what's in there. Not yet, anyway. I mean, I know full well what's in there. Hall of Wisdom. Yeah, s'mores sandwich. You didn't miss here, unfortunately.
I can already tell I'm not going to like this.
Are you a healer? You are a healer. You sell a potion that cures all common diseases. Visiting a temple shrine and making an offering, which costs less than a potion. What's in a s'mores sandwich? You're not going to like the answer. I actually can't even read it because my mouse isn't letting me go out of the game. Give me a second to look it up on my phone. And by give me a second, I mean my phone needs to... Oh, it sounds amazing until I mention the meat. My phone needs a little bit of time to boot up, so I guess while I'm doing that... The meat! Yeah, you heard me. This is a bit of a detour, isn't it? No. No, there's marshmallow and there's also meat. Two separate fillings. Yeah, okay, here we go. The Jet Puffed Smogy S'mores Sandwich. A New York City sandwich shop, Aladoro, teamed up with Jet Puffed Marshmallows to create a s'mores and prosciutto hoagie mashup in honor of National Sandwich Day. I can't find any sort of listing for what specifically it contains, so I'm kind of just filtering through this review of the thing. But the roll apparently tastes like graham cracker. There is marshmallow on it, there is chocolate on it, and there is prosciutto on it. According to this person that's reviewing it, it's not bad. According to what it sounds like to me, it probably should never have left the test kitchen. Or the garbage. And now that that particularly unfortunate revelation has been made, let's see if we can find a temple shrine. I feel like this isn't right. I mean, they gave it an 8 out of 10 is what I mean by not bad. To be completely clear. It's probably one of these, right? I can just... Yeah, okay.
There's no time for talk.
I can just
now.
pray
Go.
one of these. What do I want? Vivec's Fury, St. Maris,
I'm sure there's
St.
someone else you
Nerevar,
can bother.
St. Realm, Rorus. They have a lot of saints, huh? St. Olms, St. Aralor, St. Saren, St. Veloth,
Keep moving,
St. Delin,
scum.
St. Felms, St. Lothus, and now we're back to Vivec's Fury. Let's go with St. Nerevar. Please cure disease. Thank you. So that was a nice, reasonable 35 gold just placed in front of a shrine to receive a blessing. Watermelon and mustard sounds like a bad combo. That's another one I'm never going to try. Okay, so I'm looking for Progress of Truth. Search booksellers for a copy. Don't bother looking for the secret libraries of the Hall of Wisdom, because hell if I know where to begin with that. So it's one of 3 people. Interesting that my character wrote down the dream. That's curious. Chicken and strawberries doesn't surprise me too much. I've had a Wendy's summer salad, whatever the fuck it's called. It's not bad. Adherenir wouldn't help me. Julia, an Argonian in the Foreign Quarter at the Black Shalk Corner Club. Alright, that's where we're going next. Foreign Quarter. Which is about as goddamn far away from the temple as you can get. Thank you, Sonny. I wonder if there's any implication in, like, Dunmer culture, or at least Dunmer tribunal culture, if there's any significance to the fact that the Foreign Quarter was placed as far away from the Temple of Vivec as possible. Can't help feeling like maybe there's something to that. Although, I don't know that the game will ever confirm that commentary outright. Pears and blue cheese doesn't work because blue cheese doesn't work. They just don't. It doesn't do. There's my hot take. Radaran Wasteworks. I guess let's check for the corner club in there. Who knows? Who the heck knows where anything is in this place? This is a maze. Redaran Trader. Alright, that's not what I'm looking for. Redaran Smith. Also not what I'm looking for. Although, let's see what kind of armor they have.
You're on your honor. Don't press your luck.
Do you sell armor? It's all medium. Or at least it looks like it's all medium. Well, what do I have that might need upgrading? Iron Cuirass, rating 17. Rating 17 for the Bone Mold Cuirass. Steel. Oh, hey, we're selling steel. I don't need to go and grind a million fucking years just to get a steel set now. All right, what can I actually get upgraded? My boots are 14. These are 26. Condition 150. Condition 200. Yeah, you know what? Condition might not be as good. Hold up. Dreg Cuirass, 41. Medium. It's more than I have. And I'm not really willing to try and burn through my goods just to be able to afford that. So, instead, let's just go with the steel, huh? Take that. Take those. Take a pair of steel greaves, maybe? What do I have as far as greaves? Dwemer. Armor rating 34. Okay, I definitely don't need an upgrade on my greaves. My greaves are fine. I can't get the helm. Steel left gauntlet 26. Left bracer 31. Okay. Steel shield 26. My current shield is where? 22. Alright, let's go for that then. I guess I can sell this. Total cost 179. Sounds good to me. Let's get myself decked out. Well, decked out, quote unquote. A couple of mild upgrades doesn't exactly constitute decking out. Is my armor stat at the bottom there an average of all the things I have equipped? Feels like it is. Because, like, these are 34, right? And that's 41, but my armor stat here just says 26. Alright, well, let's go ahead and sell Dark Brotherhood boots. Don't exactly need those anymore. The Iron Cuirass. Did I already sell my tower shield? I think I must have. Alright. And then for repairs, what really needs repairing right now? My fur helm is down below half, so let's get that fixed up. The most important item in my collection. My sword is doing fine enough, but I may as well top it off. Everything else is above 50%, so we're good. Maybe downstairs. Prison cells, okay. Huh? Hello.
I am a sleeper, one among thousands. I bring you a message. Dagoth calls you, Mocha Ole, and you cannot deny your lord. The sixth house is risen, and Dagoth is its glory.
Dagoth
He is the lord and father of the mountain. He sleeps, but when he wakes we shall rise from our dreams, shall sweep our land clean of the Noir. Why have you denied him? As Lord Dagoth has said, all shall greet him as flesh or as dust.
And the sixth house?
The sixth house, the sleeping house, House Dagoth, the house of Lord Dagoth. The true house, the one house to welcome all true Dunmer and drive the Noir from our land.
I don't know. Keep pronouncing it noir.
Take heed, Outlander. The day of reckoning is at hand. Take what you can and leave our place, for when Lord Dagoth comes, this will be no place for you.
Okay. That feels like a threat. This isn't a time-sensitive thing, is it? I hope it's not. Redoran Canal Works. Probably not what I'm looking for. Temple Shrine. Redoran Records. Those shadows do look kind of fucked up. Black Shulk Corner Club. Probably not in here. Maybe it's outside. For all I know, it's outside. It's definitely not going to be in the Underworks. I can safely rule that out.
Not now, Outlander. Head on.
This leads to the Redoran Wasteworks again, at the opposite end of the room I was just in. Temple Shrine. Oh god, it's so easy to get lost here. And I bet that's because I'm not using the right fucking map. Because I noticed there's a button here that says local, and if I click on it, yeah, there we go. I can much more easily just check up on everything in the vicinity. Nothing here, though, so kind of a moot point. What do we got here? Waterworks, or Wasteworks, Plaza, Underworks. Maybe the Plaza. Maybe that's where I'd find a corner club.
I've got better things to do, so if you don't mind, let's move this along.
Let's check the Plaza.
Let's hear it.
Cool getup. I like the robe and armor combo. That's snazzy. Not even lying. Not even poking fun.
Amatwa, was you?
I the three, my rights and duties.
Sarin Manor, that's not it. Excuse me. I'm looking for a corner club. Nothing, huh?
Speak, traveler.
God. Okay. One thing I'm really, really not enjoying about this game so far is how goddamn hard it is to find where you're trying to go in places like this. Like, that is making it difficult for me, can I just say. With Vivec being as big a city as it is, and with me having very little in the way of direction to work from, like, I feel like I might benefit from having a walkthrough handy, but that kind of defeats the purpose in my eyes. Plus the fact that one of the NPCs I needed to talk to, I talked to, and they didn't say anything at all except they're freaking committing tax evasion in the sewers, which, you know, goals, but not exactly what I'm here for. How my acrobatics going up to 19? I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm not having fun. It's because I'm not. This is not enjoyable. I've gone all the way around this place now, looking for this corner club they're talking about, and it's entirely possible I've just completely missed the place because I don't have any idea where it would be. It wasn't in the plaza. It wasn't in the wasteworks as far as I could tell. I strongly doubted it'd be in the underworks. I mean, they named a location. They said Black Shulk Corner Club at the Foreign Quarter. And this is the fucking Redoran Quarter, and I've been wandering around the Redoran Quarter for the past 20 minutes in looking for a place that doesn't exist here because I'm an idiot. World map says the Foreign Quarter is to the north. I'm amazing at directions. Can you believe this? No wonder I wasn't finding the place I was looking for. Because it wasn't there. Let's try upstairs first. Foreign Quarter, Lower Wasteworks.
Let's not make this official, Outlander. Move along.
Fuck do you mean, let's not make this official? I guess let's start with the Upper Wasteworks. Why not? Lower Wasteworks, Lower Wasteworks.
I only have a few moments.
Oh wait, do you sell stuff? You do. Spells? Oh, I can buy spells here. Mark and Recall. Vitality to fortify health. Resist common disease. Resist spells of all sorts. A detect animal spell. Mark and Recall feel important. May as well also get Vitality.
3 gods, 1 true faith.
What was that?
What do you sell? More potions. Okay. Fortify health is not what I'm looking for. Do you have any good... Restore health? That's cheap, but it's not nothing. Actually, do you sell potions? You do. Fortify health? No. Restore strength, restore fatigue, endurance. God, I could go for a restore fatigue potion right about now. Yes, please. My character
Whatever you're
couldn't. I mean, I
looking for,
could.
I'm sure I don't know how to find it.
Strange.
That's not really a
That
great
was
way
the
to
strangest
advertise
book
yourself.
I've ever read.
Not really a great way to advertise yourself, huh? Also, book. Nothing. Okay. Latest rumors? Have you heard? 7 victims here in Vivec, all with their throats slit. When it was just a few outlanders killed, the Ordinators weren't making much fuss, but now that they've had 2 of their own people with slit throats, they seem very concerned at the Hall of Justice. I've heard that the Office of the Watch is quietly looking around for some special help. Anything that can kill 2 Ordinators before they can draw their weapons sounds like it will need special help. Might want to check that out. That sounds interesting. What do you sell? A bit of this and a bit of that. Okay. Nothing really stand out here. Just bargain, restore health, potion of swift swim. Spoiled potion of swift swim. Okay. Exclusive restore luck. Bargain, restore. Alright, whatever. I bet Mark and Recall are a fast travel pair.
I like this. Sweet moon sugar.
Let's check the lower wasteworks.
Make it quick, Orc.
I am
You make it
busy,
quick.
So, if you will excuse me.
Enchanter. What's the end of the hall? I've just been handed a guidebook. So if I need a walkthrough, that'll be a convenient way to circumvent actually playing the game for myself.
Spit it out or hit the road.
Being very mean about the book.
Do you want something?
It's not exactly a polite way to say thank you. There's an apothecary, that's not what I'm looking for. Alchemist, still not what I'm looking for. Oh, hey, bookseller. Maybe, by some miracle, this isn't a classroom. You can't tell me not to pass notes. Progress of truth. Where is the person selling books? Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. Progress of truth. Compiled by the dissident priests. Excerpt concerning... This is a 6-page book. Concerning the points of temple doctrine challenged by the dissident priests. 1. The divinity of the tribunal. Temple doctrine claims their apotheosis was miraculously achieved through questing, virtue, knowledge, testing, and battling with evil. Temple doctrine claims their divine powers and immortality are ultimately conferred as a communal judgment by the Dunmer ancestors, including, among others, the good Daedra, the prophet Veloth, and Saint Nerevar. Dissident priests ask whether Dagoth-Ur's powers and the tribunal powers might ultimately derive from the same source, Red Mountain. Sources in the Apocrypha suggest that the tribunal relied on profanely enchanted tools to achieve godhead, and that these unholy devices were the ones originally created by the ungodly Dwemer sorcerer Kagranak to create the false construct Numidium. Those are some very important names and very important plot points being brought up in rapid succession. Let me try to explain. The Dwemer sorcerer Kagranak created unholy devices, in the words of this book, to interact with something currently in Red Mountain, from the sounds of things, to achieve godhood. The false construct Numidium was an important plot point in Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall, which I did not play because it is horrendously broken. Long story short, they created a giant robot. Like, just to put it as bluntly as possible, they created a giant robot that was near god-level power. And I won't elaborate more on that for the time being. 2. The purity of the tribunal. The dissident priests say that the temple has always maintained a public face, represented by the hieroglypha, the priestly writings, and a hidden face, represented by the apocrypha, the hidden writings. The public account portrays the actions of the tribunal in a heroic light, while the hidden writings reveal secrets, untruths, inconsistencies, conflicting accounts, and varying interpretations which hint at darker and less heroic... Thank you for subscribing! Darker and less heroic motives and actions of the tribunes, or tribunes. In particular, conflicting accounts of the battle at Red Mountain raise questions about the tribunal's conduct, and about the source of their subsequent apotheosis. Also, there is good evidence that the tribunal have been concealing the true nature of the threat posed by Dagoth-Ur at Red Mountain, misleading the people about the tribunal's ability to protect Morrowind from Dagoth-Ur, and concealing a recent dramatic diminishing of the tribunal's magical powers. That's interesting. So, in so many words, the dissident priests here, who the ordinators will not permit to speak publicly, are saying that all the good stuff about the gods are being delivered publicly, and then in private, if you know where to look, all the bad stuff about them is being talked about. And also, maybe they're losing their abilities, and Dagoth-Ur is a more serious threat than they're letting on. 3. Temple accounts of the battle at Red Mountain. Ashlander tradition does not place the tribunal at Red Mountain, and holds that the Dwemer destroyed themselves, rather than that Nerevar destroyed them. Ashlander tradition further holds that Nerevar left Dagoth-Ur guarding the profane secrets of Red Mountain, while Nerevar went to confer with the Grand Council, i.e. the Tribunal. That Nerevar died at the conference, not of his wounds according to the Ashlanders, but from treachery, and that subsequently the Tribunal confronted a defiant Dagoth-Ur within Red Mountain, then drove Dagoth-Ur beneath Red Mountain when he would not yield to their will. It's at about this time that I am going to start piecing some threads together here. The Ashlanders, who claim that Nerevar died at the conference with the Tribunal from treachery, not from grievous injury. The Ashlanders who spread that statement are being very frequently dismissed by the public as basically nobodies. What's the word I'm looking for? Not nobodies, so much as like primeval? Basically that their teachings are the old way, and that the new way doesn't make mention of many, if any, of the Ashlanders' comments. Does that seem a little bit sketchy to anyone? That the Ashlanders saying the Tribunal murdered one of their friends is being dismissed now by the public, who have only the Tribunal's word to go off of? Just something to consider. Anyway, 4. Veneration of the Daedra, saints, and ancestors. While challenging the divinity of the Tribunal, the dissidents do not challenge the sainthood or heroism of the Tribunal. In fact, the dissident priests advocate restoring many of the elements of fundamentalist ancestor worship as practiced by the Ashlanders and by Saint Veloth. Exactly how this would work is debated inconclusively within the dissident priests. So, the dissident priests challenge the divinity of the Tribunal. They do not believe the Tribunal are deserving of the title of gods, but they do not deny the Tribunal are heroes or saints. So, 5. Denial of the prophecies of the Incarnate and persecution of the Nereverians. Though no consensus exists among the dissidents about whether the Nereverian prophecies are genuine, all agree that the persecution of the Nereverians is unjust and politically motivated. In layman's terms, the people who believe in the Nereverian prophecies are being persecuted unfairly in the eyes of the dissidents, and there is some political motivation to that. The dissident priests do not reject mysticism, revelation, or prophecy as part of the religious experience. The dissidents have not resolved the issue of true or false insights. They have studied the mysticism of the Ashlander ancestor cults, in particular the rites of the Ashlander seers and wise women and the prophecies of the Incarnate. Many among the dissident priests have come to believe that the Nereverian prophecies are genuine, and have made a systematic study of prophecies recorded in temple archives. 6. Authority of the Archcanon and the Ordinators. The dissident priests reject the authority of the Archcanon and the Ordinators. The temple hierarchy has been corrupted by self-interest and politics, and no longer acts in the best interests of the temple or its worshippers. The dissident priests believe the Archcanon and Ordinators speak for themselves, not for the Tribunal. 7. The Inquisition and use of terror and torture by the Ordinators. Within the temple hierarchy, it is an open secret that the Ordinators rely on abduction, terror, torture, and secret imprisonment to discourage heresy and dissent. The dissident priests feel the Ordinators are either out of control or tools used to maintain a corrupt priesthood in power. 8. Fundamentals of temple doctrine. Charity for the poor, education for the ignorant, protection for the weak. Though the dissident priests acknowledge that most rank-and-file priests honor the best traditions of the temple, they believe that many priests in higher ranks are interested more in love of authority and luxury than in the welfare of the poor, weak, and ignorant. So, let me see if I can condense all of this down. 1. On the divinity of the tribunal, the dissident priests do not believe the tribunal achieved their divinity fairly, and that their power and Dagoth-Ur stem from the same source, Red Mountain. On the purity of the tribunal, they question whether the tribunal are actually really good people. The fact of the matter is that publicly everyone says they're good people, and the best parts of the tribunal are highlighted to the public, but in private, in books, in libraries that not everyone will bother looking for, there are darker secrets revealed. 3. Temple accounts of the Battle of Red Mountain, the dissident priests believe are inconsistent. That is to say, the Ashlander tribes that the dissident priests listen to do not believe that the tribunal were at Red Mountain during the battle, and believe that the Dwemer destroyed themselves rather than that Nerevar destroyed them. Further, they believe that Nerevar was killed by the tribunal, which is an interesting little bit that nobody seems to want to acknowledge. Further mention of Dagoth-Ur being driven beneath Red Mountain when he would not yield to their will. I don't know what happened at the Battle of Red Mountain, but it sounds like Dagoth-Ur was a protagonist in that battle, at least as far as the tribunal is concerned. But then, once the tribunal rose to power, they basically told Dagoth-Ur, okay, thanks for your help, now submit to us or we're gonna brand you as a villain. And Dagoth-Ur is currently branded as a villain, so if that's true, that's concerning. That even the tribunal abused their power. 4th, they do not believe that the tribunal are not deserving of a sainthood. They prefer instead Daedra worship, saint worship, and ancestor worship instead of focusing on the tribunal themselves. Denial of the prophecies of the incarnate, persecution of the reverends. I'm basically just reiterating everything this book already said. I'm just gonna take that, because we're going to need that. Where is the book that I just picked up? Progress of Truth. There it is. Okay. It's a lot to deal with all at once, especially when we know so little about...
We're watching you.
And here's the Ordinator that was probably supposed to be protecting that book, huh? Ngasta Kavata Kavakis. Okay. This one's indecipherable, so I'm not going to bother with that. It is an obscure text in the language of the Slode, purportedly written by the Second Era Western necromancer Nagasta. I think there is actually a translation of this somewhere in existence, but God help me if I can... You know what? Actually, God doesn't need to help me. I have technology. Okay, smartphone. Be smart for me. Gada Kavasta Kavakis. Oh, there is a translation. The original text is actually a slightly altered version of the Esperanto language. The decoded text has nothing to do with Morrowind. Okay, alright. Well, that's unfortunate. Do you want me to read it anyway? Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna read it. Not that I'm not tempted to read the translated version, but it kind of... To know that it has nothing to do with Morrowind, and as a matter of fact, this bit here, Interreta, that does translate to internet, so it kind of takes us out of the immersion a little bit. Dance and Fire, Cult Worship, On Oblivion, Pilgrim's Path, Real Berenzia, House of Troubles, The Firmament, Reflections on Cult Worship, Sarvani's Sermons, On Artaeum. The Isle of Artaeum is the third largest island in the Somerset archipelago, located south of the Morrowind village of Patansa and west of the mainland village of Runcibe. It is best known for being home to the Sigic Order, perhaps the oldest monastic group in Tamriel. The earliest written record of Sigics is from the 20th year of the First Era, and tells the tale of the renowned Breton sage and author Voernet, traveling to the Isle of Artaeum to meet with Iachesis, the right master of the Sigics. Even then, the Sigics were the counselors of kings and proponents of the Elder Way, taught to them by the original race that inhabited Tamriel. The Elder Way is a philosophy of meditation. Jesus Christ, my throat. Hold on. Oh my god, this is more reading I've done. Tickle in my throat, quickly accelerating into a thorny feeling in it. The Elder Way is a philosophy of meditation and study said to bind the forces of nature to the individual will. It differs from Magicka in origin, but the effects are much the same. That said, it is perhaps more than coincidence that the Isle of Artaeum literally vanished from the shores of Somerset at the beginning of the Second Era, at about the time of the founding of the Mages Guild in Tamriel. Various historians and scholars have published theories about this, but perhaps none but Iachesis and his own could shed light on the matter. 500 years passed, and Artaeum returned. The Sigics on the isle consisted of persons, mostly elves, who had disappeared and were presumed dead in the Second Era. They could not, or would not, offer any explanation for Artaeum's whereabouts during that time, or the fate of Iachesis and the original Council of Artaeum. Currently, the Sigics are led by Loremaster Solaris, who has presided over the Council of Artaeum for the last 250 years. Good God. The Council's influence in Tamriel politics is tidal. The kings of Somerset, particularly those of Moradinnon, have often sought the Sigics' opinion. Emperor Uriel V was much influenced by the Council in the early, most glorious parts of his reign, before his disastrous attack on Akavir. It has even been suggested that the fleet of King Orgum of Pyandonia was destroyed by a joint effort of Emperor Antiochus and the Sigic Order. The last four emperors, Uriel VI, Morahatha, Pelagius IV, and Uriel VII, have been suspicious of the Sigics enough to refuse ambassadors from the Isle of Artaeum within the imperial city. The Isle of Artaeum is difficult to chart geographically. It is said that it shifts continuously either at random or by decree of the council. Visitors to the island are so rare as to be almost unheard of. Anyone desirous of a meeting with a Sigic may find contacts in Patansa and Runcibe, as well as many of the kingdoms of Somerset. Were it more accessible, Artaeum would be a favored destination for travelers. I have been to the isle once, and still dream of its idyllic orchards and clear pastures, its still and silent lagoons, its misty woodlands, and the unique Sigic architecture that seems to be as natural as its surroundings, as well as wondrous in its own right. The Sepra Tower, in particular, I would study, for it is a relic from a civilization that predates the High Elves by several hundred years, and is still used in certain rites by the Sigics. Perhaps one day I might return. Note: the author is currently on the Isle of Artaeum by gracious consent of Master Sargenius of the Council of Artaeum. I started mispronouncing Artaeum at the end there. It's Artaeum, not Artaeum, but whatever.
Let's not make this official, Outlander. Move along.
The Isle of Artaeum is a bit of fascination for me, personally. I just love hearing about it. Yeah, a lot of work went into the Apocrypha of this franchise. It's kind of...
near. What does it want?
It's kind of amazing how much work went into details that, like...
If you're here for trouble, you'll get more than you bargained for.
Don't really get much attention in the actual games. I've said before to friends, and I will absolutely say it again here, the best parts of Elder Scrolls lore are the parts that do not get discussed in the games themselves. It's kind of a curse. The more you... We've got to read that one. Sorry. You don't give me a book named I'm My Own Grandpa and expect me not to wonder what the fuck? I'm My Own Grandpa by Gaeldal, the funniest wood elf ever. Why did the dark elf cross the road? How many orcs does it take to light a torch? Depends. Is an orc doing the counting? What is green and hops and sizzles on lava? An orc acrobat. If a wood elf mime falls in a forest, who cares? If you drop a Khajiit head first from a great height, will it land on its feet? Not if you cut off the feet first. This book blows. Waste of 10 gil. Gil? It's not gil. Septims, hello. Sorry, I play Final Fantasy XIV. He's not that funny, no. There's a hell of a lot of books that I could dive into, given enough time. I do want to read the Monomyth. Hold on, I'm getting that one. The Changed Ones, no. Pilgrim's Path, no. Old Ways, no. A lot of copies of the Pilgrim's Path. Wild Elves, the Yellow Book of Riddles, Vivec and Mephala, Words of Clan Mother Anisi. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. The Monomyth. Oh god, this is a long one. Fuck. Oh god, this is longer than I expected. I don't want to read one that's 15 pages. But the Monomyth is a fascinating bit of lore that... how best to put it? The Monomyth is a commonly held, or at least commonly theorized, belief in Elder Scrolls lore that suggests that every single religious belief all stem from the same origin point, that every single pantheon, every single god you could name, all inevitably boil down to the same general concepts, and that there are points in each bit of each religion that all complement each other and suggest this same origin point. Ooh, hey, this passage is about Artaeum and the Sigics. Maybe I will read this. Maybe I will read this section. Oh my god, there's so much in here that I actually do really want to read. Ugh. Okay, that's a good pun. That's a good pun, Ace. Thank you. How do bees keep their fuzz so neat and tidy? They use honeycombs. That is very cute. Oh god, I'm sorry. I've changed my mind. The rest of this stream will now be devoted to reading this 16-page book. 'Cause I want to know. In Mundus, conflict and disparity are what bring change, and change is the most sacred of the 11 forces. Change is the force without focus or origin. Ognathir Taherete, Order of Suj. Simply put, the schism in the human Aldmeri worldview is the mortal's relationship to the divine. Humans take the humble path that they were created by the immortal forces, while the Aldmer claim descent from them. It doesn't seem like much, but it is a distinction that colors the rest of their diverging mythologies. All Tamrielic religions begin the same. Man or Mer, things begin with the dualism of Anu and his other. These twin forces go by many names. Anu Padme, Anuiel Sithis, Ak-El, Satak Akel, is not. Anuiel is the everlasting, ineffable light. Sithis is the corrupting, inexpressible action. If you add a fifth J to that word, it would still say Suj. But you don't add a fifth J to it because that's not the Elder language, which is not the proper name for the tongue that devised it, but I'm just calling it the Elder language for convenience. Anyway, Anuiel is the everlasting, ineffable light. Sithis is the corrupting, inexpressible action. In the middle is the Grey Maybe, Nirn, in the Elnifex. There we go, Elnifex. Sij is an Elnifex word. Nirn is also an Elnifex word. Nirn is the name of the world that the Elder Scrolls series takes place on, and translates to arena. Elder Scrolls 1 was called Arena, by the way. Anyway, in most cultures, Anuiel is honored for his part of the interplay that creates the world, but Sithis is held in highest esteem because he's the one that causes the reaction. Sithis is thus the original creator, an entity who intrinsically causes change without design. Even the Hist acknowledge this being. Anuiel is also perceived of as order, opposed to the Sithis, chaos. Perhaps it is easier for mortals to envision change than perfect stasis, for often Anuiel is relegated to the mythic background of Sithis' fancies. In Yokudan folktales, which are among the most vivid in the world, Satak is only referred to a handful of times as the Hum. He is a force so prevalent as to be not really there at all. In any case, from these two beings spring the Et'ada, or original spirits. To humans, these Et'ada are the gods and demons. To the Aldmer, the Aedra and Daedra, or the ancestors. All of the Tamrielic pantheons fill their rosters from these Et'ada, though divine membership often differs from culture to culture. Like Anu and Padme, though, every one of these pantheons contains the archetypes of the dragon god and the missing god. Just reading these first 2 pages, I can safely say this is essential information if you're looking to get into the deep Elder Scrolls lore. This is very important shit, and I'm actually glad I'm reading it. The dragon god and the missing god. The dragon god is always related to time, and is universally revered as the first god. He is often called Akatosh, whose perch from eternity allowed the day. He is the central god of the Cyrodiilic Empire. The missing god is always related to the mortal plane, and is a key figure in the human and Aldmeri schism. The missing refers to either his palpable absence from the pantheon, another mental distress that is interpreted a variety of ways, or the removal of his divine spark by the other immortals. He is often called Lorcan, and his epitaphs are many, equally damnable and devout. Note that Tamriel and the mortal plane do not exist yet. The Grey Maybe is still the playground of the original spirits. Some are more bound to Anu's light, others to the unknowable void. Their constant flux and interplay increase their number, and their personalities take long to congeal. When Akatosh forms, time begins, and it becomes easier for some spirits to realize themselves as beings with a past and a future. The strongest of the recognizable spirits crystallize: Mephala, Arkay, Y'ffre, Magnus, Rupkta, etc., etc. Others remain as concepts, ideas, or emotions. One of the strongest of these, a barely formed urge that the others call Lorcan, details a plan to create Mundus, the mortal plane. Humans, with the exception of the Red Guards, see this act as a divine mercy, an enlightenment whereby lesser creatures can reach immortality. Aldmer, with the exception of the Dark Elves, see this act as a cruel deception, a trick that sundered their connection to the spirit plane. The Myth of Orbis. Subtitled The Psijic Compensation, Mythic Orbis was an attempt by Artaeum apologists to explain the basics of Aldmeri religion to Uriel V in the early, glorious part of his reign. It quietly avoided any blame or bias against the Lorcan concept, which was still held in esteem by the Cyrodiils as Shizar, the missing sibling of the divines. Despite this, the Psijici still give a nice summary of the Elder View, and it will serve our purposes here. This version comes from the archives of the Imperial Seminary from the handwritten notes of an unknown scribe. Mythic Orbis exists, and has existed from time without measure, as a fanciful, unnatural realm. Orbis is used to connote the imperceptible penumbra, the gray center between the is and is not of Anu and Padme. It contains the multitude realms of Aetherius and Oblivion, as well as other, less structured forms. The magical beings of Mythic Orbis live for a long time and have complex narrative lives, creating the patterns of myth. These are spirits made from bits of the immortal polarity. The first of these was Akatosh, the Time Dragon, whose formation made it easier for other spirits to structure themselves. Gods and demons form and reform and procreate. Finally, the magical beings of mythic Orbis told the ultimate story, that of their own death. For some, this was an artistic transfiguration into the concrete, non-magical substance of the world. For others, this was a war in which all were slain, their bodies becoming the substance of the world. For yet others, this was a romantic marriage and parenthood, with the parent spirits naturally having to die and give way for the succeeding mortal races. The agent of this communal decision was Lorcan, whom most early myths vilify as a trickster or deceiver. More sympathetic versions of this story point out Lorcan as being the reason the mortal plane exists at all. The magical beings created the races of the mortal Orbis in their own image, either consciously as artists and craftsmen, or as the fecund, rotting matter out of which the mortals sprung forth, or in a variety of other analogical senses. The magical beings then, having died, became the Et'ada. The Et'ada are the things perceived and revered by the mortals as gods, spirits, or geniuses of Orbis. Orbis, I don't know how you pronounce it. Through their deaths, these magical beings separated themselves in nature from the other magical beings of the unnatural realms. The Daedra were created at this time also, being spirits and gods more attuned to oblivion, or that realm closer to the void of Padme. This act is the dawn of the Mythic or Merethic era. It has been perceived by the earliest mortals many different ways, either as a joyous second creation or, especially by the elves, as a painful fracturing from the divine. The originator of the event is always Lorcan. Let's talk a bit about Lorcan now. This creator, trickster, tester deity is in every Tamrielic mythic tradition. His most popular name is the Aldmeri Lorcan, or Doom Drum. He convinced or contrived the original spirits to bring about the creation of the mortal plane, upsetting the status quo, much like his father Padme had introduced instability into the universe in the beginning place. After the world is materialized, Lorcan is separated from his divine center, sometimes involuntarily, and wanders the creation of the Et'ada. Interpretations of these events differ widely by culture. Below are some of the better known. Yokudan Satakal the World Skin. Satak was the first serpent, the snake who came before, and all the worlds to come rested in the glimmer of its scales. But it was so big, there was nothing but, and thus it was coiled around and around itself, and the worlds to come slid across each other, but none had room to breathe, or even be. And so the worlds called out to something to save them, to let them out. But of course, there was nothing outside the first serpent, so aid had to come from inside it. This was Akhel, the hungry stomach. Akhel made itself known, and Satak could only think about what it was, and it was the best hunger, so it ate and ate. Soon there was enough room to live in the worlds, and things began. These things were new, and they often made mistakes, for there was hardly time to practice being things before. So most things ended quickly, or were not good and gave up on themselves. Some things were about to start, but they were eaten up as Satak got to that part of its body. This was a violent time. Now, that all sounds like babble, but I'm gonna take an aside and try to clarify a little bit. Yokudan Satakal the World Skin describes Lorcan as Satak. No, wait. If Satak is the first serpent, a snake, the first god listed in any given pantheon is Akatosh, so Satakal and Akatosh are the same god. Akhel, the hungry stomach, must then be Lorcan, something that made itself known and tricked Satak into stabilizing the world. So that would be Lorcan basically convincing Akatosh to make things stable. At the expense of any number of other gods and similar spirits that never got a chance to be. Pretty soon, Akel caused Satak to bite its own heart, and that was the end. The hunger, though, refused to stop, even in death, and so the first serpent shed its skin to begin anew. As the old world died, Satakal began, and when things realized this pattern, so did they realize what their part in it was. They began to take names like Ruptga or Tuhuaka, and they strode about looking for their kin. As Satakal ate itself over and over, the strongest spirits learned to bypass the cycle by moving at strange angles. They called this process the walkabout, a way of striding between the world skins. Ruptga was so big that he was able to place the stars in the sky, so that weaker spirits might find their way easier. This practice became so easy for the spirits that it became a place, called the Far Shores, a time of waiting until the next skin. Oh my god, okay, so I've never actually read this for myself, but coming from a place where I've read into the deep lore before jumping into this is actually really fascinating to me. I mentioned before that the stars in the night sky are conceived as holes created by basically the ancient spirits that created the world, not wanting to partake in its creation any further and leaving. So Ruptga was so big he was able to place the stars in the sky so that weaker spirits might find their way easier. Became so easy for the spirits, it became a place called the Far Shores, a time of waiting until the next skin. Okay. To clarify about the next skin, I need to clarify something else. Kalpas, the Kalpic cycle. This is something hinted at, but not really discussed in any clear detail until all the way in Skyrim. Put bluntly, time in this world is in a constant state of death and rebirth. The world itself, eventually, after being created, has to decay. And that decay leads to destruction and then reformation. Basically, the world becomes unhinged, deteriorates, time sort of collapses, and then reforms. So, the skins are meant to be the Kalpic cycles, as they're known. That is to say, the point at which time stabilizes, flows naturally, destabilizes, and ends. That is one Kalpa, or in this case, one skin. So, the spirits, the higher powers, whatever you might want to call them, the gods, basically know how to get the heck out of Dodge before time basically breaks. So the gods know a place of safety where they can wait for the world to restart, essentially. And the Far Shores are that world. I would assume that, as I understood them, holes in space and time, the Far Shores would be the domain from which all magic comes from. I'm fascinated by all of this. I hope I'm not putting my audience to sleep here, because this is no gameplay at all. This is just me reading a book, but this is a really good book for me. Ruptga was able to sire many children through the cycles, and so he became known as the Tall Papa. He continued to place stars to map out the void for others, but after so many cycles, there were almost too many spirits to help out. He made himself a helper from the detritus of past skins, and this was Sep, or Second Stomach. Sep had much of the hungry stomach still left in him, multiple hungers from multiple skins. He was so hungry he could not think straight. Sometimes, he would just eat the spirits he was supposed to help, but Tall Papa would always reach in and take them back out. Finally, tired of helping Tall Papa, Sep went and gathered the rest of the old skins and balled them up, tricking spirits to help him, promising them this was how you reached the new world, by making one out of the old. Oh, wait, is Sep tricking spirits to help him, promising this was how you reached the... Okay, alright, Sep is Lorcan, I see. Tricking spirits to help him, promising this was how you reached the new world by making one out of the old. The spirits loved this way of living, as it was easier, no more jumping from place to place. Many spirits joined in, believing this was good thinking. Tall Papa just shook his head. Pretty soon, the spirits on the skin ball started to die because they were very far from the real world of Satakal, and they found that it was too far to jump into the Far Shores now. The spirits that were left pleaded with Tall Papa to take them back, but Grim Ruptga would not, and he told the spirits that they must learn new ways to follow the stars to the Far Shores now. If they could not, then they must live on through their children, which was not the same as before. Sep, however, needed more punishment, and so Tall Papa squashed the snake with a big stick. The hunger fell out of Sep's dead mouth, and was the only thing left of the second serpent. While the rest of the new world was allowed to strive back to godhood, Sep could only slink around in a dead skin, or swim about in the sky, a hungry void that jealously tried to eat the stars. Pause for a moment to point out, did I not say a couple of playthroughs back that Lorkhan's body, torn in half, became the moon's? Sep slinking around in a dead skin, swimming about in the sky. Cyrodiilic belief gives us Shizar's song. This was a new thing that Shizar described to the gods, becoming mothers and fathers, being responsible and making great sacrifices with no guarantee of success, but Shizar spoke beautifully to them and moved them beyond mystery and tears. Thus, the Aedra gave free birth to the world, the beasts and the beings, making these things from parts of themselves. This free birth was very painful, and afterwards the Aedra were no longer young and strong and powerful, as they had been from the beginning of days. Some Aedra were disappointed and bitter in their loss, and angry with Shizar and with all creation, for they felt Shizar had lied and tricked them. These Aedra, the gods of the Aldmer, led by Oriel, were disgusted by their enfeebled selves and by what they had created. Hey Rook, good to see ya. I am currently reading through a very interesting little lore book called the Monomyth. I am not doing a whole lot of gameplay. I didn't get nearly as much done this session as I wanted, but I'm so taken with this book that I just had to put the gameplay on hold to read it, so I hope you can forgive me that. The Monomyth, in short, is meant to basically tie together a number of religious beliefs across the game's lore, suggesting that they all hold a same origin point and some very similar features. Recurring characters, so to speak, though they take different names in different, Yeah, this is me, the funny hat streamer, currently streaming just reading a book. A really good book, The Monomyth. It talks about, as I was saying to Rookie who just joined, how every bit of religion in Elder Scrolls society all seem to share a few interesting common factors. Described all the way back here, Sithis, the original creator, Anu, basically the force of order, where Sithis is the force of chaos. From these two spring forth the Et'ada, the original spirits, known as gods, demons, Aedra, Daedra, ancestors, whatever you may want to call them. Every one of these pantheons of the original spirits contain the archetypes the dragon god and the missing god. The dragon god is known to us in layman's terms as Akatosh, the missing god is known as Lorkhan. The dragon god is time, the first god. Lorkhan is essentially creation, who either tricks or convinces the other gods to give their immortal powers up in favor of birthing mortality and a stable, linear world. Give me a moment to read. Or not read, drink. Sorry. Okay. These Aedra, the gods of the Aldmer, led by Oriel, were disgusted by their enfeebled selves and by what they had created. Everything is spoiled for now and for all time, and the most we can do is teach the elven races to suffer nobly, with dignity, and chastise ourselves for our folly, and avenge ourselves upon Shazar and his allies. Thus are the gods of the elves dark and brooding, and thus are the elves ever dissatisfied with mortality, and always proud and stoic despite the harshness of this cruel and indifferent world. Other Aedra looked upon creation and were pleased. Well pleased. These Aedra, the gods of men and beast folk, led by Akatosh, praised and cherished their wards, the mortal races. We have suffered and are diminished for all time, but the mortal world we have made is glorious, filling our hearts and spirits with hope. Let us teach the mortal races to live well, to cherish beauty and honor, and to love one another as we love them. Thus are the gods of men tender and patient, and thus are men and beast folk great in heart for joy or suffering. Final Fantasy XIV crossover confirmed. Yes, the Hope they're referring to is in fact my character Hope Oberlane from Final Fantasy XIV. Great in joy and suffering, and ambitious for greater wisdom and a better world. Now when the Daedra Lords heard Shazar... Now when the Daedra Lords heard Shazar, they mocked him and the other Aedra. Cut parts of ourselves off and lose them forever. That's stupid. You'll be sorry. We are far smarter than you, for we will create a new world out of ourselves, but we will not cut it off or let it mock us. But we will make this world within ourselves, forever ours, and under our complete control. So the Daedra Lords created the Daedric realms and all the ranks of lesser Daedra, great and small. And for the most part, the Daedra Lords were well pleased with this arrangement, for they always had worshippers and servants and playthings close to hand. But at the same time, they sometimes looked with envy upon the mortal realms, for though mortals were foul and feeble and contemptible, their passions and ambitions were also far more surprising and entertaining than the antics of the lesser Daedra. Thus do the Daedra Lords court and seduce certain amusing specimens of the mortal races, especially the passionate and powerful. It gives the Daedra Lords special pleasure to steal away from Shazar and the Aedra the greatest and most ambitious mortals. Not only are you fools to mutilate yourselves, gloat the Daedra Lords, but you cannot even keep the best pieces, which prefer the glory and power of the Daedra Lords to the feeble vulgarity of the mush-minded Aedra. The Altmeri believe the heart of the world, or at least this is one passage from their origin story. Anu encompassed and encompasses all things. So that he might know himself, he created Anuiel, his soul and the soul of all things. Anuiel, as all souls, was given to self-reflection, and for this, he needed to differentiate between his forms, attributes, and intellects. Thus was born Sithis, who was the sum of all the limitations Anuiel would utilize to ponder himself. Anuiel, who was the soul of all things, therefore became many things, and this interplay was and is the Aorbis. At first, the Aorbis was turbulent and confusing, as Anuiel's ruminations went on without design. Aspects of the Orbis then asked for a schedule to follow, or procedures whereby they might enjoy themselves a little longer outside of perfect knowledge. So that he might know himself this way too, Anu created Auriel, the soul of his soul. Auriel bled through the Orbis as a new force called time. With time, various aspects of the Orbis began to understand their natures and limitations. They took names like Magnus or Mara or Zen. One of these, Lorcan, was more of a limit than a nature, so he could never last long anywhere. As he entered every aspect of Anuiel, Lorcan would plant an idea that was almost wholly based on limitation. He outlined a plan to create a soul for the Orbis, a place where the aspects of aspects might even be allowed to self-reflect. He gained many followers. Even Auriel, when told he would become the king of the new world, agreed to help Lorcan. So they created the Mundus, where their own aspects might live, and became the Et'Ada. But this was a trick. As Lorcan knew, this world contained more limitations than not, and was therefore hardly a thing of Anu at all. Mundus was the house of Sithis. As their aspects began to die off, many of the Et'Ada vanished completely. Some escaped, like Magnus, and that is why there are no limitations to magic. Others, like Y'ffre, transformed themselves into the Elnifey, the Earthbones, so that the whole world might not die. Some had to marry and make children just to last. Each generation was weaker than the last, and soon there were Aldmer. Darkness caved in. Lorcan made armies out of the weakest souls and named them men, and they brought Sithis into every quarter. Auriel pleaded with Anu to take them back, but he had already filled their places with something else. But his soul was gentler, and granted Auriel his bow and shield, so that he might save the Aldmer from the hordes of men. Some had already fallen, like the Chimer, who listened to tainted Et'Ada, and others, like the Bosmer, had soiled Time's line by taking mannish wives. Auriel could not save Altmora, the Elder Wood, and it was lost to men. They were chased south and east to Old Elnefey, and Lorcan was close behind. He shattered that land into many. Finally, Trinimac, Auriel's greatest knight, knocked Lorcan down in front of his army and reached in with more than hands to take his heart. He was undone. The men dragged Lorcan's body away and swore blood vengeance on the heirs of Auriel for all time. But when Trinimac and Auriel tried to destroy the heart of Lorcan, it laughed at them. It said, "This heart is the heart of the world, for one was made to satisfy the other." So Auriel fastened the thing to an arrow and let it fly long into the sea, where no aspect of the new world may ever find it. Oh my god, what a book. Thank you for the follow. Delighted that from all of that I got a follow. Yeah, that book I've never read before. Really good book. Complex, its story, certainly. And if anyone has any questions about what I just read, feel free to ask. I will answer to the best of my ability. But for me, knowing that the bottom line is that all of those stories are true at once, that was really, really cool. Anyway, we have a job to do. It doesn't involve reading that book a second time, unfortunately. Hulea, Argonian, 4 1/4, Black Shulk Corner Club. Okay, here's the 4 1/4. Looking for the Black Shulk Corner Club. I think one of the most complex bits of the story at this current... Oh, here it is. At this current point is that we don't actually know... Like, the information we've been hearing about the Tribunal, the Ordinators, the fact that they only seem to hype up the good bits of their gods while hiding the bad bits and even torturing people who dare to seek out information on that. We don't know whether we can trust the Ordinators just from all that information. And we also don't know... I really need to get rid of I'm My Own Grandpa. Hold on, I'm going back to the bookstore.
Whatever
Is
you're
it
looking for,
necessary
I'm
that you
sure I
speak
don't
with
know how to
me?
find it.
I am busy, so
Watch
if you will
yourself.
excuse me.
We'll have no trouble here.
That's one of the bookstore. I should really... Oh, the rare books is over there. Shit. Fuck. Ah.
We're watching you.
I haven't much
Whatever
time,
you're
so
looking for, I'm
be
sure
quick
I
about
don't know
this.
how to find it.
Say what you want or go away.
Books, 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 books. Here we are. Hi, I'd like to sell this back to you, please. Thank you. I'll take my 3 gold.
What, Outlander? If you're here for trouble, you'll get more than you bargained for.
And the corner club is the other way.
Spit it
Let's
out
hear
or
it,
hit the
Orc.
road.
Here, I believe. Yes.
Go ahead.
And I'm looking for Hulea, an Argonian.
The
There you are.
prey approaches.
I welcome you as the friend of my friend, Moga Ole. but I wish to go to my friend's bookstore, and these troublesome fools are in my way. I have tried to persuade them, but they hate my race, and I fear there will be violence. Perhaps if you speak with them. But be careful and be ready. Bookstore? Ah, my friend Jobasha the Khajiit has a bookstore, Jobasha's Rare Books. If you'll agree to travel together with me there, I will answer your questions, but before we go, I beg you to try to persuade these troublesome fools to leave us alone. Otherwise, I fear they will attack me the moment we go to leave. Tell me about these troublesome fools? The sight of a free Argonian offends these racist thugs. It would tarnish my Morag Tong honor to slay them. Oh wow, a member of the Morag Tong and they're giving you trouble? And I don't want to trouble my friend, Saralis Golmis, by fighting in his club. But I must go to my friend's bookstore where we can talk in peace. If you have a way with words, perhaps you can talk to them. Or if you have a way with money, they might be bought. Otherwise, I fear there must be bloodshed. Alright.
What was that? What do you want?
Talking to you, Fetcher? No, I'm talking to the filthy lizard, so push off.
Filthy lizard?
What, are you some kind of filthy lizard lover? You want to give your little friend a big kiss?
How do I tell him to knock it off? Kill this clown. I'm very tempted. I'd probably get in trouble with the law if I did that. Yeah, you know what? I'm curious what happens. My crime has been reported. Okay. Steel Tonto. Eh. Oh. Who's this? Well, you're not the person that was running the place, so... Nom nom nom. Alright, well, let's see what happens now. Ah. Alright, he won't talk to me because he's Morag Tong, and I did just murder someone.
Speak, traveler.
Let's reload. I'm not happy with that outcome. I'd like to not just kill if it can be helped. Let's bribe you with 100 gold. Filthy lizard.
Blah, blah, blah. He can stay here forever for all I care. Not my problem. Are we ready to travel together to Jobasha's Rare Books? When we arrive at my friend's bookstore, I will answer your questions there.
Sure.
Will you travel together with me to Jobasha's Rare Books? We leave the door to the foreign quarter wasteworks, turn right, west, continue down the hall and across the atrium on the same level, then follow the opposite corridor west.
I know the place. Please follow me.
Thank you. I will follow you to Jobasha's Rare Books and we will speak further there.
What is this regard? Sarah?
Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure I don't know how to find
Watch
it.
yourself. We'll have no. Do you want something?
Bookstore is right down here.
Yes, thank you very much. We should be free from distraction here. Now, I said I'd tell you about the Nerevarine cult, so you can report back to Caius, and I don't know of any Sixth House cult, but I can tell you what I do know. To understand the Nerevarine cult, you must understand the history of the Ashlanders. Nerevar means something very different to the Ashlanders from what it means to the Dunmer of the Great Houses. You should also know about the persecution of the Nerevarine and the legacy of the False Incarnate, for the Nerevarine cult is at the heart of the ancient conflict between the nomadic Ashlanders and the settled Great House Dunmer. Here is a summary for Caius, but ask your questions and I'll answer in detail. Start by explaining the Sixth House cult. I've never heard of such a thing. House Dagoth was the Sixth House, but in the War of the First Council, they betrayed the other great houses and were destroyed for their treason. But I've never heard of anyone worshipping them. Dagoth-ur, the ancient head of House Dagoth, is the devil of the tribunal faith, but I've never heard of anyone worshipping him either.
Interesting. Tell me about the history of the Ashlanders. Actually, tell me about the Ashlanders first.
The Ashlanders hate the House Dunmer, who have become soft and who have abandoned traditional ancestor worship for the gods of the tribunal. And the Ashlanders hate Outlanders, who invaded and stole their land and forced them to live as a subject people. A reborn Nerevar who could drive out the Outlander invaders, destroy the false worship of the tribunal, and restore the pure traditional life and faith of the nomads would be a very popular hero to the Ashlanders.
Tell me about their history.
In the First Era, the nomadic Ashlanders and the subtle Dunmer clans were much alike, but after the First Council and the formation of the Great Houses, Ashlanders have been steadily forced into the poorest and most hostile lands. Now the nomadic tribes look to the prophesied return of Nerevar for a restoration of their ancient rites and religious traditions.
Tell me about the persecution of the Nerevarin.
The Temple treats the Nerevarin prophecies as heresy, and the Temple imprisons and executes heretics, unless prevented by imperial law. But since the Nerevarin cult is hostile to the Empire does not interfere when Temple persecutes the cult. Ashlanders hate the Temple, and particularly the Ordinators, for their ruthless treatment of Nerevarin cultists.
Tell me about the false incarnate.
In the past, some have claimed to be the reincarnated Nerevar. The most recent is known as Peakstar, a figure of legend among the Wastes tribes for the last 30 years. The Temple says these false incarnates disprove the prophecies, since the false incarnates fail and come to nothing. But the mystical Nerevarin cult glorifies rather than shrinks from contradictions, citing the appearance of failed incarnates as certain proof of Nerevar's coming rebirth.
That's actually pretty interesting, thank you. Alright, so that's 2/3 of the information we need. The last one has an issue with being taxed, apparently. And I'm not entirely sure what to do about it, if I'm being completely honest, because they didn't give us any prompts to ask further about that.
Not now, Outlander.
Maybe they just didn't like
Head
me
on.
enough. Oh, it is 4:58 though, so we're coming up on time for the day. While I would be content to keep going, this is, I will say, a very, very lore-rich session, and I
If you're here for
feel like
trouble,
maybe the best idea now would be to take a break, let it simmer, come back to the game in 4 days as per usual. Am I even in the right place? Did I stumble into... 'Cause there's the Underworks, which is not where I want to go. I want to go out. This leads to the Lower Wasteworks,
keep moving.
which I know must have a door leading out
Only
properly.
this will thought.
There's a Fletcher. Foreign Quarter Canal Works. Maybe it would be a good idea if I checked my local map. Upper Wasteworks, Foreign Quarter. Okay, all right, I see. I get it. Go this way.
I don't have a lot of patience for questions, Outlander.
Either of these doors should suffice.
There's someone watching me. I can tell.
Okay, it's 5 p.m., so we're at time. Should probably just save. I should probably just save. I need to reiterate that to myself because I'm not going to save otherwise. Okay, so with that very long segue into the book done, that's all the time we have for this stream. Thank you all very much for attending. My next stream is going to be Tuesday, November 9th at 2 p.m. Pacific. I'm looking forward to seeing who shows up. There really was. That was a nice picture. That was a nice place to stop. The sun coming up. Before we go, well, up or down, I couldn't quite tell. I didn't see whether I was pointing east or west. All right, before we go, the usual plugs. First, the stream archives, where I try to upload all my previous streams within about an hour of the stream's finishing. You can find it on YouTube at Strawbunny Slime Stream Archives. That's Strawbunny Slime, all one word, or just follow this link. Second, if you want to stay up to date on when a stream is going live, or just chat with other streamgoers between episodes, I have a couple of options. For the chattier folks, there's an announcement Discord where you can hang out with other chat members, right here. Set your clocks back on Sunday. Thank you, I didn't know that was coming up. If Discord's not your style, you might instead consider following us on our official stream Twitter at Strawbunny Slime, right here. Third and finally, if you want to send a little money my way and unlock some extra emotes, consider subscribing. A tier 1 sub is $4.99 a month and gets you access to the CogChamp, Straw Shade, and all new, still pending, Shad U emotes. If you can't commit to a sub, consider donating. The button is on my About page right here on Twitch. I am, as a reminder, doing a donation drive for Oblivion mods. $20 gets one Oblivion mod added to the list. It is a lot of money to ask for one single Oblivion mod, I know, but I was figuring it could be done in little bits and pieces across multiple people. Ace, I'm calling you out because you spent $20 whole on me at the drop of a hat, which already gets me one Oblivion mod. As for the reason the Oblivion mods are priced so high, Oblivion is notoriously unstable. And by notoriously, I mean I specifically downloaded, in hindsight, maybe too many mods that didn't quite work together properly, and it crashed on me every half hour. And if I want to do an Oblivion stream modded, I need to know people are going to be willing to sit through the possibility of frequent crashes. So that's why the price is so high on that. I'm probably just going to mod Skyrim as I see fit, but that's, you know, long-term talk. Point being, tier 1 sub, $4.99 a month, donations accepted, and at this time, very welcome. I feel a little guilty talking about monetization to such a small crowd, though, so I'm going to actually suggest, if you like this stream, maybe recommend it on Twitter or any social media places you go to. I don't know. I'm not really good with suggesting people spread the word about my streams when I'm not still 100% confident in my streaming abilities, but I guess I have to start somewhere. Point being, if you like what I do, feel free to give me a shout out wherever you feel like it's, you know, opportune. Spread the word of... I wouldn't go that far. That sounds like you're elevating me to deity status, and I'd prefer to stay out of making my own tribunal. But yeah, just a little nudge here or there. Send some folks my way. It'd be very, very, very much appreciated. Probably more than money could do, really, because, like, Kickstarter's down. That's excessive. That's a bit much. I don't know. I feel guilty asking people to tell friends about me or to give me money or anything like that, because basically everyone here is a friend, and I don't like turning to random good friends and asking, hey, can I have $20? It just feels mean, you know? Mean or needless. Even the monthly subscription fee is a bit high for my liking. I don't know. I'm feeling like maybe I jumped into the donation drive thing a little early, but that's neither here nor there. I'm running well past time just scraping sympathy from the audience. So in lieu of that, that'll do it for this stream. Thank you all again for attending. Hope to see you at the next one. Award-winning gameplay. Citation needed. That'll do it for this stream, though. Thank you all very much for attending. Hope to see you all at the next one. Once again, that will be on November 9th, 2 p.m. Pacific. And as Ace said, don't forget to set your clocks back on Sunday. I'm going to be running 2 p.m. Pacific according to clocks being set properly back. Of course, I will have notifications on Discord and Twitter when I'm going live, etc., etc. But 2 p.m. Pacific, November 9th. Be there, and I probably won't spend the last 20 minutes or so reading a book that, while wonderful, is maybe a little bit too content-dense for one sitting. Especially this early in the game when we know so little about the world and its lore. But until then, Strawbunny Slime streams. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. it does mean you get to hear my voice. That's very, very flattering. Ada, you're too sweet. All right, but yeah, November 9th, 2 p.m. Tune in if you want. I probably won't be reading anything quite so long. Thank you all for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your day.